Hello, hello, all the readers out there, and welcome. Welcome to the reading room. Today we're doing another debates dissection. Get out your scalpels and make sure you've got a hold on your rock, because we're dissecting another debate with Howard Stirrup. And I both love and hate my chat for making me, allowing me, enabling this sick addiction to do a debate section on Howard, because oh boy. Yeah, it certainly was it's a short one, but I think we're going to have a lot to unpack. So I'm going to get on my marvelous co-host. We have the pleasure of having Dr. Tapioca Weasel. Dr. Tap, how are you?
I am I'm at the top of my game right now because it's only downhill from here. I have watched this debate. And I'm really sorry, chat.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. But you signed up for this. And I gotta say,
I just got you on to blame you, quite frankly. Like, I have to blame somebody for this, and everybody blames you anyway.
Fair enough. It is an objective fact that I was one of the major people in chat being like, you should cover this. And that's just, it's not a kind thing. It's not a kind thing. I have a lot to answer for, and I'd like to apologize.
No, it's just, every time I'm looking at the Maya, she's just blaming you for whatever happens on her channel. It must be uber convenient.
She's a smart woman.
I got to get a scapegoat as well, quite frankly. I do.
I'm an excellent scapegoat.
Yeah, so I might need your skills in physics and mathematics for this one, because I don't think I can pass this by myself. I think we might need some more brain power. So chat, if you can figure out what the actual F is going on in this video, you are a better person than I am, quite frankly.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is more like a kidney stone than it is a difficult to parse idea. It's like a mental kidney stone.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So when you said I have to pass this, I was like, kidney stone. That's what we're talking about.
I mean pass. Like pass is what I said.
Oh,
pass. P-A-R-S-E.
Pass. Well, see, that was just me being,
Yeah, it's just the
America.
accent. So I say pass and I say pass. So there's a slight difference there. My God, that sounded exactly the same to me. That sounded exactly the same. Pass.
How do you think it sounded to me? All Australian people
exactly the same. Because Americans generally say
we have harder R's.
Pass. Well, they say pass. And I go
pass.
Sorry?
And parse. Pass. And parse.
Pass.
Like pass.
I hate you right now. I'm saying exactly the same word and I can't seem to stop because my accent just goes parse. No, that doesn't sound right to me.
Well, that parse is, but it may not sound right, but it does sound distinctive, clear, and unambiguous, which is the point.
I cannot argue with
that. #victory.
I can't argue with that. Look, I've never said the Australian accent was useful for frigging anything, quite frankly. It's such a weird accent. I love it so much.
It's the best one. 10 out of 10.
I'm going to put a tangent in chat already. This is going to go dreadfully.
We're highly skilled at that. I mean, I'm an NASA shill. I'm doing all the things. I'm a fake weasel doctor. What that means is somewhat up to you.
Yeah, pass a mental kidney stone. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I get you. Look, it could work. I mean, it involves a lot of effort, a lot of pain, and maybe some relief at the end. That it's all over. I'm with you.
Yeah, and a non-zero amount of bleeding from your urethra. So
yeah, that is possible. That is absolutely possible. But let's get it up because we've already tangent out. Okay.
Mark's sitting here being like, there's a reason I haven't had Dr. Tab on the channel in like a hot second.
No, it's fantastic. No, I can't look. If anybody I have on and I tangent, it's got the common denominator is me here, sir. I'm blaming nobody but myself. Nobody.
Yeah, this is what I tell Maya. I'm like, Maya, the only person more reliable on Bad Science Sunday than me is you. So, Let's start it.
Yeah, that's just a quick aside. That's terrible, Roman. Yeah, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. Apparently, Matt, who we're doing a debate on, Matt Dillahunty,
Wow.
just because of the trans attacks, and I don't blame him in the slightest.
Jesus Christ. Good for him. Good for him.
So here's something I want to throw out. I don't know this is the case, but are people trying to get Matt off modern day debate by just being arseholes to him in the debate, hoping that he'll quit? Because, you know, they can't debate him. Like, if you can't have actual argument to stop him,
don't debate him. I don't think so. I don't think they're that organized.
Yeah, but that's true. You know, and it's just... It's so crazy that the most reasonable debate I've had lately was with a racist and a misogynist. You know, like it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know why theists can't debate in good faith. It's absolutely terrible. You know, we could bring up a whole lot, and you know, a whole lot.
I think there are theists who can, for the record. I think there are absolutely theists who can debate in good faith.
Well, not on modern day debate lately. I guess there has been. I guess I'm being.
I wouldn't know, and two, that's a self-selecting group for sensationalism and clicks that it kind of makes sense. I mean,
yeah, actually, that's not true. There has been perspective philosophy on, and while he sounds incoherent and, you know, it sounds word salady, he's at least, you know, he's debating without doing these kind of dishonest stuff. I guess there was, you know, I mean, I've debated somebody recently. I debated, who was it? Was it Hassan or Aziz? I think I debated a couple of Muslims that weren't too bad. So I think I'm just doing sort of confirmation bias with just seeing the bad ones and going, oh, it's all bad. It's just these people, I don't know why they're putting them up against somebody of the caliber of Matt, because he's not going to stand for that childish stuff.
And like people might notice, I literally am upfront about the fact that literally and explicitly, like, I hold us and Matt to a different standard on this issue. Us platforming Howard, we can talk about it. Maybe it's a bad idea, but Matt platforming Howard is just objectively a terrible idea.
Oh, yeah. And plus, we're not platforming Howard to have a serious debate. We're platforming Howard to laugh at his craziness, basically.
This is what I do. By the way, chat, if you haven't seen this, you got to get ready for this. It's a whole second level.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, let's get it started then. And, you know, I'm you know, my thoughts go out to Matt. I can't imagine how upsetting that must be to just have somebody you love made, like, because attack me, that's fine. Attack my wife or my partner, that's low. That's so low. Like, what kind of person are you? It's horrible. It's horrible. So, you know, thoughts go out to him. So sorry to hear that, Matt. Yeah, because Matt's going to be watching, sure. So this is the start of Howard's. Oh God, I both love. I've got a love-hate relationship with my chat. I hate that they do this to me, but I was the one that put the poll up because I can't resist a poll. So
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we were all there goading you into it. So, you know, mission accomplished.
But at the end of the day, it is my choice. I have to take responsibility for what goes up on my channel. So, you know, at the end of the day, the buck stops with me. So here we go. Just to start, this is the start of his opening. Can you guess which one he's going to get stuck on and focus on for the entire time? Take a guess.
I'm gonna go with number 4. Is it number 4?
I think you might be right. Number 4 is probably where he's going to get stuck. But let's go.
Objectively, the least obvious answer on there if you didn't already know it was coming.
Yeah.
That is full screen, yes.
Awesome, let's do this. Okay, 7 reasons why I believe theism is more rational than atheism. In this presentation, I shall give evidence-based arguments for these 3.
Is that loud enough?
Why? It was loud enough for me. So assuming that
Okay,
it's on parity with yours, I maybe I would raise the volume a little bit, because the one thing I don't know is how loud I am, and the answer to that is probably louder than everything else because I'm loud. Maya can tell you. I think probably there's like a solid just flat 25%. You've always got to like. Sorry, I'll stop talking.
No, you're good. You're good. just give me some feedback. If it's too loud, if it's too soft.
Corinthians and Revelation, plus the surahs and the Quran, and many other religious texts and historical artifacts describe Earth as being multidimensional.
No, they don't really. Not multidimensional. I mean, they do say 7 heavens and things like that. I'm not sure that is multidimensional.
No.
Yeah.
Any more than saying that there are 7 houses on the next street is multidimensional.
Correct. Yeah. So you can interpret that as multidimensional, but you have to make that word do some very heavy lifting to apply to a religious text. The Bible describes Earth as a square having 4 corners. Yep, he thinks that the Earth has corners. Like, he thinks it's flat and has corners. Now, keep this in mind. Howard, I know for a fact that when he goes into these debates, he's told, do not bring up flat Earth, right? Do not bring up flat Earth. And I wish I had a counter and stuff. I've really got to organize stuff like that, because he tries to smuggle in flat Earth everywhere into this, like any possible way.
I have a whiteboard. Oh, I can do a counter. See?
Okay, well, you've got a whiteboard.
This is why co-hosts are on. You continue, but this is why co-hosts are on. I'm just saying. Yeah,
see, this is a physicist. I'm an IT guy. I don't, I use electronic things. So, this is the weakness of the physicists. They like their physicality.
Well, you know what? So does chat.
Yeah. So does Maya's chat.
Okay.
No, Maya's chats. There has not been any kind of decision made about the whiteboard on my channel. Thank you very much.
You can continue.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Well, I can do a poll. Like, let them breathe in the whiteboard, and
the whiteboard is sad.
Oh,
the whiteboard is sad that you don't like it, and
that's very well done. We got to get you in a game of Gartic Phone.
It's welling up. It's welling up with tears now. You see that?
Yeah.
And thank you. That's the first time in literally 15 years somebody has complimented my artistic skills. So, take it.
Well, we should get you in a game of Gartic Phone, because I suck at that game.
No, I played that recently with you. It was your fault, didn't I?
Oh, that's right. I did that.
I totally did.
Funky
it was just an utter disaster. There was there were 3 times I just completely forgot to have an actual response to the prompt because I was too slow. And it doesn't flash at you. It doesn't give you a 5-second warning. I could have at least gone
it does have a thing counting down though, like a timer going.
Yes, it does, but it doesn't draw attention to itself in the last seconds. And it should. Like on chess.com, when you get to the last 10 seconds of your clock, it flashes red.
Okay.
And that's very helpful. So sorry.
So this whole thing, circles are irrational infinite. Not really. It's the circumference divided by the radius is a rational number. It doesn't mean that the circle is infinite. That's a different thing. That's a different thing.
How geometry works.
Yes. Oh no, it's funny because he goes into sort of what some people have described as sacred geometry, and the joke is that it's neither sacred nor is it geometry. That's the thing.
No, 100%. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Oh, you know what? I have it still out because I'm a disgusting individual. So I'm going to put on my lab coat.
Heaven 7D. The Bible describes Earth as a square having 4 corners. The Bible describes the heavens as a circle. Squares are rational, finite, physical, pi, while circles are irrational, infinite, metaphysical, pi.
Okay, so he also doesn't understand what metaphysics is, because metaphysics can be physical things. In philosophy, metaphysics is simply the actuality behind things. So just because something's metaphysical doesn't mean it's supernatural or not physical. A lot of theists make this mistake. They think, oh, metaphysical equals supernatural, and it doesn't. It doesn't.
Well, not with that attitude, it doesn't.
Well, no, but that's how it is understood.
You gotta break out of your restrictive mindset, Mark. You gotta think.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked at enough rocks. Apparently, I think that's the problem. I need to look.
Or eaten enough crayons.
Eaten enough what?
Crayons.
Plants.
Crayons.
Crayons. Oh wow!
Like what,
all right, that's a
with
grasp.
crayons.
You saw that as well. That was insane. That was Latter-day Saint chowing down on crayons.
Oh no! I'm a fan of Team Skeptic.
And that was literally Latter-day Saint, a flat earther on Modern Day Debate, chowed down on crayons, like he ate crayons.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
He was one of our interlocutors when Grayson and I debated the flirts. One of the flirts was Latter-day Saints. The other one was Mike. And to be clear, honestly, a fan of Mike. I thought he was a nice guy. I mean, he thinks the Earth is flat, so problematic, but.
No, it was on MC Toon.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, what am I keeping track of? Because I have the tally, by the way.
The flat Earth smuggling ring.
Okay, it's only been one though, right?
Sorry, it's only been one. Yeah, it's only been one. I'm trying to find this thing. I'm not sure I can find it. It doesn't matter. I'm getting distracted as usual. Lucky I got a weasel to blame.
Yeah, no, I'm like really it.
You've got your blame coat on. That's awesome. So it doesn't just get all over you, kind of thing. That's
exactly.
Okay.
Scientists. Oh shit! My drink spilled. Thank God it didn't spill on my keyboard.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it happens to me like more than it should.
And just quickly, I just want to give a big shout out to Ember in the audience. Dr. Tap's keeping your seat warm, and can't wait to have you back, mate. Just much love to Ember. You're in Mississippi.
As we can see,
let's go.
When drawn, the golden spiral grows in quarter circles.
Yeah, so this is phi, right? So it's a very, very cool ratio.
It is.
This is the Fibonacci sequence. So
yes,
phi is actually the exponential growth between the numbers, not the numbers themselves. So when he's saying so phi is derived, like, or the Fibonacci sequence is sort of, it reflects phi.
Yes,
but it only gets close to phi the longer you go.
Hold on, but what do you mean by that? When you say it only gets close to phi, what you specifically mean by that is the ratio of the next number to this number is phi, and that number is, for the record, roughly 1.618.
Yeah, but it's not accurate at the start. Like if you take 1 to 1,
exactly,
right?
And this is actually even it's so fundamental. This is the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. 13, yeah, whatever, I don't know, but this is the Fibonacci sequence. But there are an infinite number of Fibonacci sequences. You can start with any two numbers. In this case, it starts with 0 and with 1. Yes. And then you get the Fibonacci sequence. But you can start with 20 and 86 if you want to. And all of those sequences converge very rapidly to this exact same ratio. the next number is 5 times larger than this number. And that's awesome. That's like a really fundamental pattern in how self-similar growth patterns behave. And that's something that really extends into so many different areas. It's amazing.
But it seems to be one of those quirks of mathematics, like irrational numbers and like, these patterns that we see in maths. And there's a lot of them. It's not just phi. We see these patterns emerge from maths in general. It's why people sort of that are heavily involved. My partner's mother is a PhD mathematician, and they sort of describe math as beautiful, and she says it's got hate and love and all of these things because these patterns come out in it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh man. Like I had to fight with my Mathematica software when I'm trying to get it to expand and simplify certain complex mathematical expressions that I'm composing together in the course of trying to calculate, for example, the potential energy landscape that the atoms in my trap are going to experience. If you do the wrong thing, it suddenly does everything in terms of sines and cosines instead of exponentials, and those are like linked by the most beautiful formula in mathematics, in my opinion. And math is really cool. People don't.
Yeah, it is, and it has these amazing patterns to it that emerge, but there's no reason to think that was put there by a god to make you think he exists, kind of thing. There's no reason to think
exactly that. Yeah.
It seems to me more there are these sort of constants and these formulas in nature that just repeat over and over and over. You can make the same case for magic or simulation theory, or it's evidence that we're in the Matrix. That doesn't necessarily lead to that conclusion. So this entire thing's a real reach, but you haven't seen a reach yet. Look, this man is he can reach so far. His arms are so long.
Let's do it. Hold on. Are you what speed are we listening at, for the record?
1.5.
Okay.
Too slow?
No, that's fine. I always just forget to do that until an hour into the show because I'm bad at my job.
And we have a super chat. Dr. Dino for $2. Thank you so much, Doc. Nerd. I don't know if that's directed at you or me, but maybe both of us. Maybe both.
I mean, the answer is still yes, right? So
yes. You know what? I'm going to reclaim that word. Yes, I am a nerd. I'm going to reclaim it. I know that it's considered.
It didn't occur to me that it was an insult. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, then, you've already reclaimed it. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
Phi numbers. The digital roots of the phi numbers gives us a 24 number sequence, which is like the hours per day.
Yeah, so it falls into this pattern. Every 24, it repeats this pattern. But as you said, that's only starting from certain numbers, right?
Yeah. It everything this guy says is self-fulfilled. And I want to let him lay out his vision for a moment, though, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I've colored them so people can see the digital roots, and that goes infinitely. The last digit of the phi numbers gives us a 60 number sequence, like the seconds and minutes. Again, I've highlighted it for people to see. The 60 number sequence has 4 zeros that are exactly 15 digits apart, like 4 quarters, corners, making a cross.
And this is the thing. So it does fall into a pattern. So he's made a 60 item circle, a circle with 60 segments in it,
and
60 arcs.
Yeah. And it's got like different colors, and it's got different dividing lines and all sorts of things. Like there's a lot of different things that can indicate different meanings for each individual
Right.
segment, which I don't know. I guess
Well,
that means that it's awesome and smart. And let me tell you, sometimes that works. Not gonna lie.
Well, the thing is, it's like the 7-day week guy kind of thing, you know, like it's just a number that you're saying, hey, that equates to this. Why does it equate to the minutes and seconds? Why does it equate to the hours and a day?
Yeah, and we're gonna see so much of that. We're gonna see just like,
oh yeah,
look at this amazing pattern. One, you have not explained why this pattern is important. You have not explained. You have not predicted this pattern previously, even in a way that would be unimpressive. And two, this pattern is only happening because you made it by construction, and it's not even clear to me why you did that. So what? Like, and you can do almost anything with numbers.
Sure,
you really
yeah,
can.
Absolutely. Well, those people that do sort of numerology in the Bible, they do exactly that. They apply all of these different formulas and all of these different things. Say, hey, it makes this, and it's like, but you could do that with literally any book at all.
With any book and with any string. With if you want to match a string of characters with some sufficiently large text, like you're not going to be able to do it with like C-spot run or whatever, but
and so this is how we're supposed to interpret it. This is oven. This is Bic. This is Voljack, Rack, Lev. I don't know what all of this is. And I don't know what it's got to do.
I know what it is. Hold on.
But there's 12 segments in each segment. It's 12, 24, 36.
I lost my marker. Conspiracy, Mark.
You know what it is. Holy crap.
It's a conspiracy. I found it. I found my marker. Okay. I can tell you what this means.
Okay. I'm all ears. I have to know what this is, apart from a person doing a contortion tricks, apparently. So what I get is when you're a mathematician. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It means nothing.
Okay, so
I mean, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah, so what I'm getting from it is that if you're a contortionist, you can do math. That's what I'm getting out of this thing. I don't know if that's correct, but that's what I choose to get out of it. And there's 144 segments in this, right? So how does that relate to the 60 segment thing? I have no idea. Look, what I'm so baffled already.
Well, okay, so 60 is 12 times 5, and 144 is 12 times 4. And 5 obviously divides very evenly and cleanly.
144 is not 12 times 4.
It's 12 times 12. Sorry, I don't know what I said.
It's 12 squared.
But fair, you know, I'm like 5 steps ahead of myself because I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like the Ken Wheeler.
That's okay. Look,
of
you and me both.
Weasels.
You and me both. Look,
right?
5 minutes of Howard and your math skills just go out the window. I get it. I totally understand.
Oh yeah. No, it's really phenomenal. He's got like
Saturn twice, then Jupiter, Mars. Oh, he's got Mars twice and Jupiter twice. Why aren't they together? Who knows? Does it matter? Who knows?
The asteroid belt. Are you kidding me? Do you not know about the asteroid belt, Mark?
I'm unfamiliar with the asteroid. Which
asteroid belt? It's got all the Trojans in it. Do you not know about the Trojans?
No. Okay, so you've got a super chat, Tapioca Weasel. This is for Dr. Tapioca Weasel. I love watching him. If you give me your banking details, I can send that through to you. That's not a problem. $2 Canadian from Yahooligan. I'll send you $2 dues. You can figure out the conversion rate.
Okay, so hold on. I got to send you my bank account number on my username,
Well,
my password. My
yeah, just
social
over
security
the internet
number.
live on YouTube. Sure, do that.
Okay,
that.
let's do it.
I mean,
can
this
do
this
it.
stream is getting crazy anyway. We might as well lean into it, you know.
You
When
can't
drawn
lower your standards
on a-
until you've had me on.
Look, my standards are plenty low already. I refute that, sir.
When drawn like astrology, or also it can be drawn like a sine wave.
What? Okay.
How sine waves work. Or
Why
what?
is chloride of potassium on there? And fluoride of lime, phosphate of magnesium, sulfate of potassium? Is that potash, maybe?
I don't know, man. That's what potassium is named after.
Potassium,
Potash.
phosphate.
Potash is like the thing that they first isolated potassium from because.
Is this alchemy? Is he turning lead into gold over there?
To be fair, alchemy was a respected science. That didn't. I mean, it wasn't a science, so that's not true. I want to withdraw about it. It's not a science. It was respected. It shouldn't have been, but it was.
You take that lab coat off right now, calling alchemy a science. How dare you, sir?
Yeah, it's some. I mess up, and I have very low standards. Trust me. It's the only way you get through grad school.
Or also it can be drawn like a sine wave.
Oh, well, that's a person too.
Yeah, it is. I didn't notice that the first 6 times I watched this.
The person's knees are the Milky Way? Why?
What do you mean,
is the person's knees the Milky Way?
Because reasons, Mark.
Oh.
The 5s connect in conjunction with the 0s to make 12 sections, like hours per day. Night.
Yeah, so here's the thing about, and this is what I noticed about 60, right? He's got 60 seconds. 60, 12, they're both fantastically flexible numbers. Like if you take 12, for instance, it's evenly dividable by 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12, of course, itself, and 1, which all numbers are. But, you said take something like 11, prime, and 13, you can't 10, divide it by anything.
10 is the one we use, and it's only divisible by 2 and 5.
Right. It's only divisible by two numbers as well as itself, so a total of 4. So 12 and 60 especially, because you have sort of not just 2, 3, 4. There's a ton of numbers that divide into 60. So he's sort of splitting this up, which is sort of like division, and going, hey, it comes out even. Yeah, well, no shit. That's the nature of numbers like 60. That's what happens. Like it's really weird, but I think it's sort of more 12 that fascinates me, just the flexibility of that number compared to other numbers around it. It's really flexible.
It is. It absolutely is. I don't. Some people are like super like all about how we should totally use a base 12 system instead of a base 10 system. And like if I were designing things from scratch, but it actually it doesn't matter as much as you think, and all else being equal, which is not the case, but all else being equal, the lower the base is, down to like maybe like the 3 or 4 level, the better. Things are more simple. Base 2 though, like you can't do negative numbers in base 2 without like going out of your way. Whereas in base everything else,
you need a bit to make it negative.
Exactly.
Bit on the number, and it's possible. It's just
No, you can do it. You have to go out of your way though.
I mean, I've never dealt much with base 12. I have with octals and hexadecimals, but not really with base 12.
There's not much fundamentally different.
Right. Well, you can have base any number. That's the thing. You can have base 3, you can have base 7. It just matters when you put the extra digit in. So, for instance, base 7 would go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the next one would start with a 1. It would be the next one would be 1, 0, and
This is the reason a lot of people like to talk about how Base 10 is nice because it's clean.
Yes.
Like 100 and 1,000 and the thing is, if you actually switch to any other base, it's also clean. The reason they're not clean is because if you talk about base 12 times 12, sort of like the top where it would wrap around again and start with like a new thing, that's at 144. That looks really ugly. Yeah, of course it does, because we're talking about it in base 10. Yes. We're not talking about it in base 12. In base 12, it would look like something very analogous to 100.
Yes. So, same with hexadecimals. You get FF, and then that's in the next one.
Yeah.
If people aren't aware, it's sort of a coding thing. Hexadecimals are 0 to 9, and then A, B, C, D, E, F.
And it's because it goes 0 to 16, and then it does that in two slots, which means that it goes from 0 to 255. Yep. And that's what a byte is.
Robin, thank you so much for the super chat. Robin sends in $2. Does this make sense to either of you? Well, I'm going to have to define how it makes sense. Do I think it makes sense that a guy with no critical thinking who is absolutely enraptured with conspiracy theory latches onto some patterns in numbers? That makes sense. If you mean it makes sense as in, like, does it make sense that because numbers exhibit patterns, then the earth is flat and there's a God? No, that makes no sense whatsoever. That makes negative sense. I'm going to have to add an extra bit for that to make negative sense.
But like maybe we'll be convinced. Let's let Howard convince us.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Constellations and the 12 cranial nerves plus pairs of nerves plus 1. When we square the circle, we happen to find pi right on the decimal place.
Do we though?
3.
I mean, you do if you build it that way.
Well, yeah, but also is pi 3.145?
Oh my God, I did not notice that.
No, it's not.
Oh my God. Okay, to be clear, if this does not come up nearly often enough,
right,
for somebody of my level of egotism, I just, pi is not 3.145.
Exactly right. Exactly right, Tenebra is saying. It is not 3.145. I mean, you can say, hey, it says 3.14. Well, no, what it says is 314, and you're taking that to be pi, because not even 3.14 is pi. That's not particularly accurate to pi, because it is an irrational number.
How many places do you know pi to? I think
about that, like 3.14159 is about the limit I can go to. That's about
it. Some people had a lot of free time in 5th grade. Okay. And those people know that it's not 3.1459. He forgot a 1. He just straight up forgot a 1.
Yeah.
And it's bad. It's 3.141592653589793238362623 33832795.
Nice.
So those people didn't have many friends when they were in 5th and 6th grade. And this is where they end up. They end up on a lab coat on some Aussie's channel talking about Howard who thinks the earth is flat.
How dare you? This is the best place to be. How dare you, sir? This is amazing.
That was an insult.
You're living the dream. What are you talking about? You're living the dream.
I agree with you. Which part of that was an insult? You're just assuming that it was an insult based on the tone that I said it in.
It's because you said an Aussie. Like no one likes hanging out with Aussies. Come on now. Come on.
Everybody loves Aussies. I met you before I met Ken Ham. So
Okay, well, yeah, everybody loves most Aussies. Look, Australia's pretty laid back too. We usually
It is.
don't.
I've
like,
been there.
You don't. Oh, really? Where'd you visit?
I went to Australia in, what year was it? I want to say 2006, and I was born in 91, so when I was pretty young. I visited someplace sort of like further up north that isn't like a big place, but we did visit Sydney, and Jesus Christ, I can't remember. There was I remember the name of it. We did not visit Canberra or Melbourne, so I can't remember precisely. We were only there for a week, and like 4 of the days were in Sydney. So,
oh, sorry, Professor Bell. I missed it. He put a question in the chat.
Awesome,
he
though.
said, "Who's smarter?" Yeah, no, he's absolutely amazing. Who's smarter, Whitsitt, Flatzoid, or this guy, Howard Stirrup? And I think Whitsitt is the smartest. I think,
like, yeah, 100%. Whitsitt might be a Poe.
Yes, I suspect that highly. I know somebody that knows him and says no, he's straight up. I'm not sure.
And fair enough.
Look,
fair enough.
Yeah, and I can't prove that. I don't claim to know people. I do suspect it. I don't claim to know it. Because
Whitsitt, I feel like Whitsitt has though. I feel like Whitsitt has gotten a little bit more tolerable recently, though. You know what I mean? I met Whitsitt like 9 months ago.
I don't know about that. Well, okay, so yes, there was a time when he was like another Nathan Thompson.
Yeah,
like, really just was obnoxious kind of thing.
But smarter. He's way smarter than Nathan Thompson. So it was worse. Well,
that's a low bar, my friend.
The bar is, as I like to say, subterranean. Full disclosure.
Yes. But like he seems to have switched from, instead of that really obnoxious aggressiveness of that style, to just word salad, like just throwing out. I mean, I was watching
He's so good at it.
Well, he threw out ontological parameters. Like, how many people in the audience is going to understand what ontology is and what parameters are? So
I don't even know what ontology actually is, but I know more than Whitsitt does. But I probably couldn't convince the average person of that.
There's no reason why. Well, I think what he's trying to get at is that there are constants in the unit, like the speed of light is a constant kind of thing in a vacuum kind of thing. There seems to be like the fine tuning argument, a certain amount of parameters that the universe or that physics say the universe has. But there's no reason to bring ontology into it. He's just making it needlessly complicated. And I think that's by design. And I've got a super chat by Peter Guns. Thank you so much. $2. Here's some money. We didn't ask a question or anything. So, I forgot to hang on a sec. I'll see if this works. Okay, I'm trying a new thing. All right, chat. Don't hate me. Okay, I'm trying a new thing. Shut up. Leave me alone. Speed of light is a constant everywhere? No, it's not. Nope, that ain't true.
The speed of light in a vacuum is.
Yes.
And the speed of the propagation of information is.
Well, that's the speed of light in a vacuum, because that's the fastest.
Yeah, but you're right, but not by definition. Those two things are not the same by definition, because you can have information that travels without being electromagnetically transmitted. For example,
like
gravitational waves,
quantum entanglement, and things like that.
Well, quantum entanglement doesn't act. You can transmit information, but not faster than a light. And yes, that's probably a fundamentally core way of elucidating exactly what I'm talking about. Can you even transmit information with that? I actually don't think you can transmit information with quantum entanglement.
Didn't they transmit a song by using
Now, they
quantum
may have
mechanics?
demonstrated the correlation of a song between two spatially, like time-like distantly located points, but that's not the same thing as transmitting information.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, transmitting information means that one party is able to predict the results of another one before anybody has like done any measurement on the other one. That's a bad description. Leo's probably
That's
in chat
okay.
being like, what?
It's
what do you
very,
think?
very hard to understand. Like, I mean, quantum stuff is if you like, I heard that if it doesn't make you angry, you haven't understood it properly.
If you think you've understood it, then you haven't understood it. And quantum stuff is weird fundamentally in certain ways, but there are ways that you can get a pretty good intuition for. I personally find special relativity to be far more of a mind fuck. Than
That's okay.
Quantum physics.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. It's very confusing. Special relativity, like the dilation of different times and lengths, it's very confusing.
Right. Yeah, but back to the video and how it's missed. He's missed the one, which is just great. It's just fantastic.
This mechanism shows the 6 days of creation, with the 7th judgment day for rest. End times. Stop.
Where is the 7th day on this thing? Like, I don't.
Who knows?
And look, in the end of times, when Pi Sun comes home,
it's got spaghetti monster.
That's true, but why is it spelled PIE? Are we having pi at the end of days? Look, I'm looking forward to it if we get pi.
Well, like, everything was meant for modern English speakers. Everybody else was just chaff.
Oh.
Right? Yeah. Because that's how the racism be.
I don't understand any of this, like, seriously. I don't understand. This is apparently showing evidence for a god.
Well, then, in that case, you should get a PhD. You're highly qualified.
Okay. Right.
Watch. Or so it appears. I'll walk you through it. Acknowledge the 3 numbers that surround each 0.
You've got to acknowledge the 3 numbers that surround 0. Are you acknowledging it?
Are you asking me to acknowledge the existence of God as a metaphysical substrate of every intelligible presuppositional thought that I'm trying to elucidate?
No, just you got to acknowledge the numbers. That's, you have to acknowledge it first off, not just
You're right.
sort of believe it. You have to acknowledge it.
I acknowledge it.
I don't know who talks like this. Like, acknowledge that there's numbers around the zeros.
Darth Dawkins.
Yeah,
but
it's a pattern. It's a pattern.
7s, the 999s, 3033, and 111s. Also, the 4 corners of the mechanism make an axis.
Yeah. Also acknowledge this sounds like one of those like Warhammer technology cults. Acknowledge the 4 corners of the mechanism world clock.
Yeah.
All hail the machine god. I don't know if anyone gets that reference, but I hope somebody out there gets that
particular one. No, because I
Well,
don't spend that
there's-
much time upside down like you do, because you live in the southern hemisphere.
Well, you know the Space Marines in Warhammer 40,000. Are you aware of that? Are you nerdy enough?
Yeah. I've read the story of Grendel. I don't know if you know what that is.
I don't think so. Maybe
it's a Warhammer 40K thing. It's not just the Beowulf thing. Like, obviously, that's
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but it's beyond. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. It's basically they're the people that take care of the Space Marine stuff. They worship the machine god. They think a god makes it all work, kind of thing. So they're basically a cult to machines, essentially.
They're like the manifestation of what happens if you take Luddites and you just force them to like live in a machine society.
Yeah, kind of.
Or a cog for each, so that we can rewind back to see what happened on the 5th day or stage.
Oh, we've got another cog. Watch out. Watch out.
Oh yeah.
And just to clarify, this is your evidence for intelligent.
Just to clarify, this is your evidence for intelligent design. Ryan's like,
because Ryan's probably, he's probably seen Matt's face, because Matt is still going to be displayed in like the back room thing, even though Howard has the whole screen, and he's probably like, what the did I sign up for?
It's that meme of that girl. What is going on here?
And like 10 out of 10. And so Ryan probably also everybody in chat is like, what is going on? Like, you could probably see it. I don't even know.
And he's probably like thinking, is he making a frisbee or something? Is he putting together a scale model of a UFO? What is happening here? Like,
yeah. So I didn't actually realize this, assuming it's true, which I think it is, until I watched Matt's like atheist debate Patreon project video on this. This was pre-recorded.
I
didn't realize that, because I wasn't really paying attention, and like now that I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's obvious. This is actually it's really well put together. It's pretty smooth. It's completely nonsense, but it's communicating the nonsense in a visually and auditorily straightforward way.
Mm-hmm. So turn the yellow pi 180 degrees counterclockwise. So basically, he's basically I don't know why this stuff has
degrees. Got it.
Yeah. So it's right way up for me. It's got like, I don't know where these numbers have come from. These 9319. It's kind of it's really weird, because the pi was 3.1. So I don't know. He's flipped at 180 degrees, right? But it's so weird. And then the purple 90 degrees counterclockwise. So let's do that.
This topic. All right, just to clarify, we have 3 topics, everybody. So one is evidence for intelligence design. Second is evidence for Satan. And the other is evidence for Noah's Ark. So I'll put your timer back on with that clarity, and we'll continue.
Thank you. I'll just have to rewind so no one misses the points. I'm just building.
Oh, yeah. So no one misses the points. Like, everybody's got, everybody's with it till this point. Right?
These are excellent points. Okay. We got.
Everyone's totally on board.
I've kept track of the rotations around one axis and then around the other axis. And this is the orientation of the metaphysical substrate inertial plane that is the absolute reference for my entire epistemology. So
that's the resting point. That's the resting point. Gotcha.
Exactly.
So let's watch this again. For those who
turn the yellow pi arm 180 degrees counterclockwise, and turn the purple 0 arm 90 degrees counterclockwise. Acknowledge that now the numbers 9 on the purple arm are now surrounded by the 9s of the yellow pi arm. So are the 3s, the 1s, and the 7s.
Yeah.
Now turn the yellow pi arm and
so now he's going to rotate both of them. So what you've got to understand with this is you've got 60 sections, and you're basically taking through the numbers through perturbations of dividing and multiplying, essentially like in a physical form of 90 degrees, which is 30 of the segments, and 180 degrees, which is 30 of the segments, and 90 degrees, which is 15 of the segments. So you're essentially doing sort of these calculations with the numbers, but all it's doing is like finding patterns in when you're multiplying. It's like those sort of tricks where you say, add this number, times it by this, do this, do this, do this.
Mark, I think you're giving this way too much credit.
Well, all I'm saying is it's just a pattern using math.
This guy did not get the 4th digit of pi correct.
Well, yeah, I understand
4th digit.
But I'm just saying, like all of these, like
Mark,
he thinks
Mark.
that these...
The
No,
fourth
this is my show.
digit.
Shush, 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 shush. Shush, shush, shush. No, he thinks that the 7s lining up and the 3s lining up is something strange, and I don't think it is, considering what he's doing.
Which is just getting all of the numbers wrong.
Well, I mean, let's hear him out. Let's hear him out.
Purple 0 arm, 90 degrees counterclockwise. Now they're locked together.
Locked.
Let's see what we see. Now there's double digits surrounding the zeros. 4 9s, 4 3s, 4 1s, 4 7s, which helps us add another cog to the mechanism. So the next step is to turn all 3 cogs back 90 degrees counterclockwise, a quarter circle. To see the numbers that now surround the purple arm, we can see that there was also...
I didn't even see the
Fingers
extension of
on
the pattern.
human body.
Wow. Somebody, a golden boy in chat, as it were, thinks that they're able to ban. Oh, wait, that's you. Damn it. That's how the highlight.
Do we have 20 fingers on our body? Is he talking toes as well? Is he including toes? What has it got to do with fingers on the human body?
Well, have you considered reasons?
Oh, I haven't considered reasons. That's
well,
the thing that
you're not even doing the barest amount of work, Mark.
Well, I think I am. I think I'm actually... Look, you just criticized me for not working too hard, and now you're criticizing me for not working hard enough. You're giving me mixed messages.
Capitalism, and I'm highly effective at that.
Okay. I wasn't aware that weasels were effective at late stage cap. I suppose it makes sense, really.
Right? It's...
So something I want to point out
thinks
here.
That people weaseling their way out of things is bad. Weasel are proud people.
Exactly. We see that there was also synchronicity. Do you know what synchronicity is?
Yes, it is the state of being synchronous.
Well, I'm not sure if that's one of the definitions. Usually when you're talking about synchronicity, you're usually talking about something that looks like it is designed or by design, but it's a mere coincidence. That's usually what synchronicity is.
Well, that's a bad definition of it, and I prefer mine. Oh, that'll work out for me, I'm sure.
Yeah, to describe circumstances that appear meaningfully related yet lack a causal connection. In contemporary research, synchronicity experiences refer to one's subjective experience that coincidence between events in one's mind and the outside world may be causally unrelated to each other, yet have some other unknown connection. Yeah, so no, it's basically
totally a whole thing I didn't know about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of, I think it's Young, I believe. It's weird. He likes these numbers kind of thing. How numbers react in the golden ratio. Like all of this is just, hey, math has patterns. Big freaking whoop.
And not even, most of the time, they're not even the patterns he says it has, though. Like, I know it may seem like a detail, but I don't think it's a detail. I don't think it's a small detail. You got the third or fourth digit of pi, the fourth. Wrong. The fourth digit. That's
terrible.
What are you doing?
Ben Howard.
Also synchronicity with those same numbers when they were in the original position. So we add the new cog and we turn all of the arms 90 degrees counterclockwise. And this...
Again, he's just sort of, he's just moving the numbers as part of 60. That's all he's doing. Like he's just performing maths calculations or physical maths things on the number 60. That's it. That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
makes it locked, set into the starting position. Acknowledge that each time the yellow pi arm...
Are you acknowledging? Are you acknowledging? You have to acknowledge this.
I acknowledge it. I acknowledge what Howard is saying. Yes.
Yeah, so the green cogs
is moved, the numbers surrounding it appear to alternate, change position, showing that they surround the same numbers on the green cog, 8s with 8s, 6s with 6s, 2s with 2s, and 4s with 4s. This is a lot of coincidences.
No, it's synchronicity. There's probably a background reason why it's happening. It looks like coincidence, but it's probably that you're using the number 60 and then you're making sort of divisions of 15 and which goes into 60, and 30 which goes into 60, and using a set formula which is phi, and sort of noticing the patterns in that. It's not the fact that it comes up patterns doesn't prove anything. That's what maths does. You're just misunderstanding maths.
If you like to believe that. Okay, I hope that all makes sense. And now you can see that we've put the numbers underneath the original position. Acknowledge that the 5s alternate between being in front and behind of their neighbor digit. So this gives us 2 last cogs or arms that go in different directions. Similar to swap stickers, actually. Turn the blue arm hold.
I forgot that. I didn't even remember that.
Similar to swastikas. Okay, Howard. Does that mean that God is a Nazi? Is that what he's saying? Is that what he's saying? I don't know.
This is like Howard. We should like acknowledge this up front. Howard is not just like a guy with weird beliefs. I think Howard is genuinely delusional and genuinely has mental health.
Well, Matt went into that with his overview video, and what he said is, and I was going to bring this up when we got to it. Matt sort of says, "Hey, I said that he was crazy, and it's not his place to judge that." And I do agree with that. I kind of agree.
I didn't say he was crazy.
Well, delusional, yeah, it kind of is a.
Okay, but delusional is a technical term. I believe the guy literally has delusions.
Yeah. Well, I think that he's absolutely like he is not thinking in any kind of rational way. Like he's just sort of doing things to basically add and sort of separate numbers, imagining maths patterns have some higher consequence than they actually do. There's a lot of different cool things you can do in math that will do exactly this, you know, working with 5s and 10s and all kinds of things. It's just, you just have to find the patterns in it. That's why mathematicians find it so compelling.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but they don't think it's God doing it. And plus, why God? Why not simulation theory? Why not magic? Why not any of these other options of explaining why these patterns line up?
Because reasons, right?
Because reasons. Because pi is 3.145. That's why. No, that's wrong. That's wrong.
5157595 90 degrees clockwise, and turn the other blue arm holding the other numbers 90 degrees counterclockwise, and this gives us all of the numbers grouped into a start.
And this gives us a wagon wheel. Yes, Old West was best time of all.
Position. Here is a.
Are you okay? Is this too much for you, Tat? Are you okay?
I'm just like, I look at this, and when I see something like this, what I'm struck by is the quality of the actual illustration in front of me. It's actually really
Howard didn't make this.
I know, but still.
It was from his mathematician friend.
still, I don't know. It's still, somebody went and took a lot of care being very clean and precise about what they were writing down. And it's completely wasted because I have no idea what any of this means because it doesn't mean anything. It's all hot nonsense.
Yeah.
And
look,
it
you
makes me
came
feel
on to
bad.
help me decipher the code. And so you signed up for this.
I have a very, very poor self-preservation skills.
The image from my friend, the mathematician.
Well, I mean, you do hang out with Maya. That's some self-destruction right there. Love you, Maya.
When you're wrong as much as me and she's right as much as her, then yes.
Right.
That showed me this, showing the 6 phases, proving that phi works in perfect harmony with pi by design.
No, it doesn't, because you didn't get pi out of that. You got 3.145. That's not pi.
Yeah, thank you. Also, what does that mean? What does pi and phi working in perfect harmony mean? Like, also,
yeah.
There are, of all of the topics that have been addressed on the thing, I suppose this counts as him ringing up the globe again. So I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, the globe smuggling ring is very much alive.
He actually has been pretty good about it, I think. But you know, also keep in mind, this is supposed to be about whether or not God exists. And
keep in mind,
by the graphic on screen's own standards, the atheism block has not even started to tip over.
And why is it in red as well? Is that like, because that's his big thing? That's really what he wants to debate. And can I just point out, keep in mind that even if you disprove the globe, outer space, Big Bang, and evolution, it doesn't prove that a God exists. That's the thing. Like, you can't just go, like, it disproves atheism. It doesn't. It just disproves those things.
Indeed.
It's very easy to disprove atheism. Just show us a God. That's it. It's very simple.
Yeah, it's very easy to disprove the globe if it were in fact false, but
oh yeah, absolutely.
It's not though. So there's that.
That's why they have to sort of make up straw men of the actual science, so they can disprove that straw man that isn't even correct, and then they disprove the globe, but they don't actually get the science right. Sometimes I think on purpose. Yeah, sometimes I think on purpose.
Not chance. So would atheism be a rational position if all of the supporting theories were debunked due to Earth having a special location? Well, all experiments...
another smuggle, please. Earth having special location. Is that flat Earth? Does that count?
Let him try and make the point. Because his point is that he may be like, if this is the case, and then you got to let him defend the proposition. That is the case,
that's fair. I think you're a lot more reasonable than I am towards Howard, but I have debated Howard, so I might be a tiny bit biased.
I haven't had to actually deal with them. It's like when people who don't have kids and have never taken care of kids, complain about parents not doing what they think the parents should do, like with their unruly child on an airplane. And I'm like, there are times and places in which I'm going to judge, but generally speaking, it's going to be when the kid is starting to cause like big problems to other people around them, and not when the kid is just being loud and obnoxious. Because guess what?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I don't know. Hard. I'm not going to judge people for something I haven't had to do.
Look, it's a weird feeling. It really is. It's it'd be like watching a dog talk. It would just be like, what is happening in front of me right now? Like, what am I seeing? Am I high? Yeah. Am I high? Like, that is, it's surreal. It's absolutely surreal.
Yeah.
primary observations and historical artifacts suggest that there is no movement of Earth, but rather that the sun, moon, and stars are moving around in the sky above us. Scientific experiments demonstrate mechanisms and working models like star in a jar, cymatics, acoustic and electromagnetic, and many scientists, famous, renowned scientists, have all agreed because of the
whole page of quote lines,
yeah.
just the whole page of it.
Mhm. It's so is quote named. The difference between the system of Ptolemy and that of Copernicus is purely a formal one, a difference of interpretation only. I don't. He's trying to say, hey, models can differ, therefore, what they're describing isn't real.
Well, yes, that's a charitable way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it completely misses the point of exactly that quote.
And Stephen Hawking, although it's not uncommon for people to say that Copernicus proved Ptolemy wrong, that is not true. One can either picture as a model of the universe for our observations of the heavens can be explained by assuming either the Earth or the sun to be at rest. And that is true.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. This is the point that I watched a debate between Roberts and Jennings, and Nate was right a while back. And at the risk of making people unhappy, Roberts and Jennings, in a formal sense, won a lot of the details of that debate, like a lot of them.
Right.
Because, believe it or not, the whole idea that the entire universe can't just be globally rotating is just a mathematical convention. You can just say it can be globally rotating about any other point. You can have that as like your baseline model, and all of the math and everything works out. It does. It's all fine. It's fine. It may not seem like it's fine, but it is. And if you don't think so, bring receipts.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but there's no reason for us to think that the entire universe is rotating around us in particular.
Except that it looks that way, is his argument.
Right. But a lot of things look like things, and that's not what's actually happening. Like a mirage looks like water. It's not water. Like you can't just look at things and say, because the way that it works, like when you're sitting on a train and another train goes in the other direction, it looks like you're moving and the train is standing still. It can give that appearance,
or
or
vice versa. It's astonishing how effective that illusion is on actual trains too.
Mm-hmm.
Actual trains are by far the best place to experience that illusion, because sometimes your train starts moving so gradually and smoothly that you do not feel it at all. You don't feel it at all. And suddenly the entire world outside starts to move. And it seems like the entire world outside starts to move. But you moved. And all of that means the same thing, because relativity is a thing. Tough. Get over it.
That's relativity, yeah. But you can do that for any point in the universe, right? You could say, hey, that point is stationary and everything is moving around that point. You can do that for any point at all. I'm asking a question.
Sorry, I was reading the thing that Daryl Frost wrote. And I can't go down that hole. Ask it again, sorry.
You can do that thing of any point in the universe is the central point and everything is moving around it. You can do that at any point in the universe.
Any point.
So
any point.
Yeah, the only reason we think that it's significant that the Earth can be that point is because we're on the Earth.
The Earth is not a singular point also.
Right. But you know what I mean? Like the only reason we think that.
But I don't, though, is I don't know what they mean. If they mean that the Earth is the point, then I'm going to ask them the question, which point?
Well,
a point is I would. Maybe I'm a jerk who's missing the point on that one. I don't know. But this is the point. But genuinely, I don't. If they think that the entire universe has a particular point that it is orbiting around, or a particular axis at least, what I want to know is where is that axis, like, actually? Because you should be able to figure that out to within a pretty impressive amount of precision, in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't know.
When you say you mean somebody smarter than me. I get you there. I don't think I could.
I mean, physicists in a world where that were true.
Right. Yeah, sorry, I'll get that super chat back up. So Robin sent in another super chat. Thank you so much, Robin. You're so generous. Robin Webster for $2. When he gets ahead of the video and sits and waits. Oh yeah, we're getting there. That's the hilarious that he thinks he's done so well. Like he goes through all of this and he's so proud of his sort of presentation. P-Town, like seriously,
P-Town and I get along really well, is what he's sort of saying.
Well, I mean, I used to, and I'll put it aside because my next Room Rumble, I will talk about P-Town and the interactions I've had with him. So look forward to that one, and it sort of shows our latest interaction and why it's so sort of sort of disingenuous kind of thing. So, I'll have something to say on that, but I'm really not interested in sort of talking to P-Town and really engaging with him anymore.
If I'm going to end up there, then I can end up there on my own. I like P-Town though. As of this moment, I'm really quite fond of P-Town. I
used to. I really stood up for P-Town when he first joined the community. I really stood up for him and said, "Hey, don't call him a Poe. Don't call him, a liar. Don't like." Well, I don't think so. That's the thing. I don't think so. And Binge Thinker, I don't think you should be calling him that. Like, honestly, you can't tell what he thinks.
Yeah,
and I'll go into this in the next video. But the thing for me was he started to tell me what I think, and I don't know why he can't give me the same respect as I give him. But I'll go into that in the next video. I've had a long think about this, so I'll sort of explain all of that. So that's my problem. I would like to think that somebody gives me the same respect that I give them, but apparently that's not possible, which is why I don't really want to engage with him. But that's okay. So hang on. Where's my tangent? I was saying I should have a hotkey for this damn thing. Seriously. Yeah. But let's go back.
I love the emoji too. It's a little hard to read, but it's a tangent.
Look, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Yes, it is a tangent line. Look, I'm doing my best with the emojis. I know some of them are.
I know, it's hard. I recommend
look, if you want to do my graphic design, you're more than welcome to. Quite frankly,
can I make weasels?
No,
it's a serious offer. Because let me tell you, Mark, I'll get ChatGPT to do most of the work, and trust me, I'll be able to blitz out all sorts of low quality shovelware graphics. It's going to be great.
Okay, what ChatGPT can make emojis?
It can tell me how to make emojis.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I've never tried that. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
The geocentric or the heliocentric models are philosophical, not demonstrable. That's why we've got no movement in the stars over thousands of years.
No movement in the stars without. Did you know that, Dr. Tapp? Did you know that?
I had a conversation. I had like a 2-hour conversation with my friend Nathan, the flat earther, young Nathan, as you like to call him. And young Nathan
Lumen.
It's on his channel, Pitch Lumen, and I last year, 2022, April 2022, there was a paper published where they had found somebody had tried to erase it. The monks in, the 800s or whatever had tried to erase it and then write the Gospel of John over it or something. But they found Hipparchus, the guy 100 years before Ptolemy, who is the other guy that we're talking about. Ptolemy wrote a whole book with very detailed measurements. They are, on the whole, really excellent measurements. Some of them are off, but when we say off, we mean like 15 minutes of arc off, which is a quarter of a degree. It's not a lot.
Right, but in a universal scale, it's not a lot of time. Like on a galactic scale, that's barely anything.
But so the first time that Polaris was called the pole star was in the like 1530s, and that was when Polaris was 3.7 degrees away from the pole star position. Back in 0 BC, back in the time of Julius Caesar, half a century before that, Polaris was 12 degrees away. And there is a measurement.
The North Star. There was another North Star before that,
Yeah, well, at that time, there wasn't any. There was a star, the name starts with T, I can't remember it, but there was a star. But back then, all of the constellations, like Ursa Minor, was already defined back then. Okay, because Ursa Minor is an ancient Greek constellation that has been around for at least several hundred years before that. So they had down to the arc second measurements of where the tail star of Ursa Minor was. And the tail star of Ursa Minor is Polaris. And they had it in a coordinate system that you have to be pretty good at trigonometry to transition between that and the normal equatorial coordinate system that you would probably by default use. Because they did it on the coordinate system of the plane of the sun, the ecliptic coordinate system, not the equatorial coordinate system, because those two coordinate systems change by 23.4 degrees or 66.6 degrees if you want to be conspiratorial.
Okay, so I found it. So it was Thuban before that, Thuban, Thuban.
I got it right. Start with T.
Well, in between them, Kochab, Kochab, was sort of in the Little Dipper, was a sort of poor version. It wasn't exact. It was very far off, but it served as the North Star in about 1100 BC. Kochab was only half again as close to the North Celestial Pole as it is today. So there has been, in sort of the last couple of thousand years, 3 pole stars, essentially. There's been Polaris, there's been Thuban, and there's been Kochab. So his idea that, hey, they don't move, you're just wrong.
Right now, Polaris is about 0.7 degrees away from the pole. It was first called the pole star. And I found I found a manuscript where it said this in Italian or Latin. But back in 1530, it was 3.7 degrees away. And back in Ptolemy's time, it was like 12 point something degrees. And 100 years before that, it was 12 and a little bit more. Like a little bit more, A bit more, yeah. And 12 degrees away is a long way away. The moon is half a degree.
Well, I think that Howard's going, well, I don't see them move, therefore they haven't moved. Because he's got this habit, and I know this from debating, he points to his eye, right? He goes, verify it, which means just look at it. And just because you're looking at something doesn't mean that what you think you see is accurate. That's why we use empirical measurements to actually validate what we think we see. This is the thing. He'll go, make validation, and it's like, that's not how we validate anything, Howard. Come on, dude. But does this count as flat Earth? Clearly not 20 million miles away, great balls of fire, land nor gas. It's not fire. Stars are not fire. Star or planet. I love how he's put that, planet. Not planets are not great balls of fire, and neither are stars. They're plasma.
So Daryl in chat, we all know Daryl. Daryl is like, wait, hold on, isn't the moon about 3 degrees? I'm just like, no, it's half a degree. And then clearly Daryl looked it up. And I was like, okay, it's 0.5 degrees, which means it's half a degree.
That is half, yeah. 0.5 definitely is 1/2. I checked it twice. It's okay. Don't pick on Daryl. Come on now. Yeah, everybody's wrong about stuff.
Well,
that's fine.
Okay, hold on.
What?
Daryl's wrong about stuff like as a job. I think it's Daryl's whole thing. I mean, I have a certain amount of, the risk of pissing off my friends in chat, I have a certain amount of respect for Daryl's
emotional, damn it.
Yeah.
I added some sounds. I don't know why I did this. Forgive me, chat. I'm sorry. It's so cringy. It really is.
I love that chant.
Heavens are metaphysical, not infinite physical space that we can travel, which is why planets and stars come into focus without any distortion at the same zoom distance. Check for yourself. I know it's a video, Ryan. It's all timed.
Okay, yes, the sun is sometimes setting behind Venus.
If I may just finish making my point. Sorry, you throw me again. It's all timed. It'll finish in 13 minutes. So yeah, you can see too much detail to call this distortion. There's no missing pieces, no mirroring. And you can check for yourself after the sunset or before the sunrise that Venus flickers with the sun behind
Okay,
it.
yes, the sun is sometimes setting behind Venus. It still appears as a bright star to us.
All primary observations.
Yes.
Thank you,
The sun is setting behind Venus, yes.
I'm a big fan of Signman Dan.
Yeah,
Signman Dan
he's
is
good.
also
He's definitely good.
Yeah, he's also he got like a video like pretty wrong once, and like everybody in his like chat and comments like called him out for it, and like within the day he like came out with a video being like, "Yo, I messed up, sorry."
Yeah.
And it was on like a really non-obvious point if you're not like a physics person, so.
Mm-hmm. And you know, he explains things, you know, really. I do like his style. I love his style of just, you know, sort of going through this and in a very, very approachable way. It's really good. He's a good communicator overall. But then again, the most popular YouTubers are the good communicators. You know, that's why Neil deGrasse Tyson is so popular, because he's a good communicator. It's really what you're after. Yeah. So all primary observations at water, land level, high altitude, and any distance show no loss of landscape due to curvature. Can we put a flat Earth smuggling ring on for that one?
I think we can. I mean, you know, what's stopping us, right?
Curvature, yeah. It's definitely flat Earth. Definitely.
At water and land level, high altitude, and at any distance never show any loss of landscape due to curvature. Bendy light demonstrably causes distortion, so it's unlikely that we'd be seeing so far on clear days when there's less distortion, no matter where the light source is. So this is what we can see. We know that light refracts, but we're told to believe that we're seeing over a bend. Yet when we go upward...
No, it's... Bendy light demonstrably causes distortion. So it's unlikely to be why we can see too far on clear days. No, it's sort of clear, cold days that cause the most distortion, isn't it? That's refracted.
I don't know if that's true. What causes the most distortion is strong gradients in refractive index, kind of by definition. There are a lot of things that can cause gradients in refractive index. Strong temperature differences, which you might have on a cold, still day. Windy days, I think, generically are going to have a little bit less because they're going to mix it up some.
Yeah.
So you might get a lot more twinkling, but your time averaged view is going to be probably slightly more accurate than you might have on a really hazy day where there are clear defined layers. Because you can get, in the right circumstances, you can have a cold layer and then a warm layer and then a cold layer and then a warm layer in the atmosphere when things line up just right. And then you can have a skyline of a city like reflected on itself like 3 times. It's rare, but it does happen.
And Connor Runda 499, thank you so much, Connor. This debate was a total hurricane of nonsense. Thanks for reviewing it. Love your work. Thank you. And I really appreciate your comment when you came in the other day. Really appreciate it, mate. So thank you. Sort of, he talks about like sort of evolution and stuff. This debate, don't forget, this is evidence of a god. Like all of this, that is not,
That's the topic of the debate.
That's what he's covering right now.
And there are three main topics, subtopics beneath that: intelligent design, Noah's flood, I think, and
Noah's flood,
and the actual historical evidence for Satan. The actual evidence for Satan.
Yeah.
No, historical evidence for the actual Satan, I believe was like the precise wording. We should get there. We need to like stop talking and like let Howard talk. Sorry.
Which the horizon doesn't go down. Therefore, when someone has experienced the primary observations for themselves and verified the information that's secondary, the evidence discredits the Big Bang theory of creation, random spontaneous abiogenesis, and the theory of evolution. So the most likely scenario is that we've been intentionally placed because Earth seems to have been designed. Now we've got evidence of a worldwide flood. We know that mainstream science acknowledges evidence of a flood when it's finding skeletons, but not when they need to explain the marine microorganisms on top of mountains.
Those mountains used to be underwater. They're
they're very young.
They weren't in a flood. It's called plate tectonics. Please understand that.
Well, hold on.
What?
Would you count the conditions right now, on the Great Barrier Reef, which I have swam over and visited? It was beautiful.
So have I.
I imagine so. It really beautiful. Really, I mean, one of the top two most amazing ecosystems on the planet. The other one being the Amazon. And what was I saying? Hold on. Yeah, but I was answering a question that he was saying.
Would you count the Great Barrier Reef as something?
Oh man, I don't remember what it was.
Well,
yeah, I was going to say like
the plate used to be underwater, and you said, would you count the Great Barrier Reef as?
Yes.
As
I meant to be like so you would think that the Great Barrier Reef is something that basically, you know, it might get pushed up in a long time, and there's as much evidence that the Great Barrier Reef gives for a global flood as there is that the fossils on like the top of Mount Everest do. But I don't remember the actual point I was going to make, so unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave you disappointed on that one. Sorry.
That's okay. Well, you won't be disappointed at what's coming next because you know.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Found in 4 completely different locations or environments along the coastline, in riverbeds, in valleys, and even buried in mud. We're told to believe that they're smooth and rounded due to water and mechanical erosion, though 10 to 20% of pebbles have up to 25 external and internal details that correlate with the anatomy of hearts, and the rounded pebbles that are less descriptive appear to correlate with the anatomy of other organs. We'll look at the details in a minute. So people all over the world are uploading the same results, demonstrating that this evidence is reproducible. This open source investigation is known as Biogeology and the heart-shaped stone phenomena, suggesting that a supernatural event of which some were shielded to be able to repopulate the world, and pareidolia and random erosion aren't adequate explanations to account for all of the visible correlations to anatomy. So this
no, pareidolia is more than sufficient. Like we see patterns in things. Like this is the thing. Like you.
It's very powerful.
It's very
pareidolia is extremely powerful. Yeah.
Reproducible evidence discredits and potentially debunks the theory of evolution. Said that one a bit too fast. But yeah, let's look at the details. We've got flat top with indentations and discoloration where the aorta would be. We've got tapering down on one side and even twisted at the bottom. We also see many Bible.
So the Bible said, stones hear and speak. Do they though? Do they though?
I mean, don't you know anything about the piezoelectric phenomena that happens when you apply stress of both electrical and mechanical nature to like silica crystals? Exactly.
And my heart
electricity means that the ancient pyramids are power plants.
Yeah. God is able of these stones to raise the children of Abraham. How does that make these things hearts? I don't understand.
Oh, I didn't get this. Yeah, no, this was just complete.
This is just pointing out that the Bible mentions rocks.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure there were rocks around at the time. I don't understand where this is going.
Yeah.
And I think that says reproducible evidence that debunks an asteroid evolution and the Big Bang timeline. It's just so like, no, it doesn't. What are you talking about? Riverbeds flow in one direction. That's just gravity, dude. They just flow downhill. Like, what are you talking about? Why should they flow both down and uphill? Like, what? Why? I don't understand.
Because reasons, Mark.
It also suggests that stone.
Sorry?
Because reasons.
The
Mark.
reasons. Oh, I forgot the reasons.
You forgot
because
the
Luke
reasons.
says the stones would cry out. I hear crying stones all the time.
Yeah,
Might have used to have been alive. And we also see plenty of evidence in the real world. There's also 6 verses in the Quran that support biogeology and that they're being watered.
But they look like bacon. They look like bacon. Like, I can't believe that somebody sees this and goes, yes, that looks like bacon. Therefore, that rock was a pig. Hearts hardened, so they were as stones. Dude, what's that got to do with...
above and below. And there's historical evidence of petrifying flesh from Girolamo Sergato. And we've now got current experiments where you can put chemicals in the microwave and actually make rubies. So petrification is a thing.
Ruby, like, yeah, you can make artificial rubies from chemicals. You're on mute, Taps. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
No, I did it. I did it. I just did it like a moment ago. I don't know that that's true. Like,
well, that's petrification.
Well, I mean, you can make micro like rubies and stuff, but like,
yeah.
Who knows? Maybe. But that just looks like a dried out dead frog or something. I don't know. Or just a rock. I don't know what it is.
That's a frog. He thinks that this desiccated frog is a petrified frog, and it's not. We have fossils. We have stuff like that. Fossilization is not petrification.
As these people from Hawaii are claiming that this toad has been petrified due to some direct energy weapon.
Or a volcano, maybe?
Yeah.
It hits it with volcanic ash is more likely, but it's a direct energy weapon. Why is it a direct energy weapon?
Because reasons.
Yeah, I dread to think what he thinks of Pompeii, like the poor Pompeii people just hit with
that
energy
almost was
weapon.
directed. I mean, it kind of was though.
Well, I mean, like, is a volcano a weapon? Maybe.
Not an intentional one,
but
tomato, you're still dead and vaporized.
Well, that's true. I'm sure they don't care.
Here's the list of 20 correlations that my friend Mike Wilkerson from the YouTube channel Stellium 7's found. He also has found a mountain that looks just like an elephant. And
yeah, he found a mountain that looks like an elephant. Congratulations. I mean, I can show you a outcropping that looks like a ship. Does it make it a ship? Hell no, it doesn't make it a ship. Like, come on now. That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it is with that attitude.
Well, no, I mean,
credulity is the soul of the Lord, Mark.
Is it?
Look like ancient trees, which would explain why oxygen levels were higher before.
Yeah, so what those are, and I've talked to Beansy about what they are they're outcroppings of underground magma that's solidified, and then everything gets eroded away around it. It's not trees. They're not giant trees. They're not. They're volcanic plugs. Doc can probably tell me.
Like, what if they are, though?
What if they are?
You had so much hope. You're like, no, he's totally going to tell me true facts about the thing. No, I'm not. I'm not going to tell you true facts about anything. There are a lot of people though that are convinced that these things that you see on screen right now, that mountain in the quotes, they're convinced that those are like ancient, super huge tree trunks.
Yes.
And they're not. They're amazing, really remarkable geologic formations, but they're not tree trunks. What?
Yeah, I know. And but plus, you've got to keep in mind that even if they were tree trunks, that still isn't evidence for a global flood. Like, this is supposed to be evidence for a global flood. And this is my problem with Howard. He can never stay on topic. Like, he just can't do it. He is physically incapable of staying on one topic. He will just move away to another one at a moment's notice. It's insane.
Which would explain why oxygen levels were higher before. So it's the globe versus the star in the jar. Which model is able to demonstrate a worldwide flood? Imagine the star in a jar experiment with 7.
+1 for the counter.
Good call. Where's my? There it is.
Mm-hmm.
We got. You know, honestly, he's doing a lot better than I thought he was going to do. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. No,
we probably missed a few, but
don't forget, I think he was absolutely told not to bring any flat Earth into the debate. It's not a flat Earth debate. Do not bring it up.
Yeah, and that Dillahunty is like, he's one of the bigger attractions for MDV. Like, they pay him. They pay him probably a not insubstantial fee because
correct,
he does this. That's what he does. So.
7 music notes or planets or chakras. We know the 7 colors in the rainbow. So maybe the Egyptians, the Islam.
There's 7 colors in the rainbow, so maybe there are 7 heavens. Actually, there's more colors than that. That's just that the guy liked the 7, so that's why he gave it 7 colors. Actually, I believe there's only 6, but he didn't like the number 6. But basically, it's a spectrum. It's just a spectrum.
Spectrums are a lie.
Yeah. It just depends on how you demark the colors, basically.
And all the other cultures were right to say that Earth is like the yin-yang symbol. If there's strong evidence of world,
the Earth is like the yin-yang symbol. How exactly? I have questions. I have so many questions.
It's kind of white. It's vaguely round. It's got a spot on it. That's all I got. Because other than that, no.
Yeah.
Worldwide flood and a mass extinction event, then the fact that we see life now supports the stories about a prophetic savior and his ark. The fact that marine organisms can be found on top of mountains worldwide supports the idea that the sea level was once covering all land. And then we've got primary observations where we can see the blue sky and stars through an apparent transparent moon. We've got stars that twinkle geometric patterns like we saw, which looks like lights underwater. And then we've got historical and actual evidence of a devil. Here we can see the 666 all over the globe map. We can see that the ancients used to worship what
globe map. There it is again.
Yes, it is.
We see the number 6 all over the globe map.
Oh my god.
You mean just the map?
Yeah. There we go. Oh, this guy. This is still his opening.
Mercury,
It's still
Mars.
his opening.
Yeah, and where is the devil in all of this? Okay, Greek gods. Yeah. Well, Roman.
I don't know. It's Maya's date night, so she's not here. So I don't know what the devil's doing.
Okay.
What we call planets or fallen stars.
Wait, in this analogy, is Maya or her date the devil?
Maya is the devil. Her date
gotcha.
is
Okay, gotcha.
Her date is, I don't know, a plaything, I suppose. Like me.
Wow. Well, when you got to eat souls, you got to eat souls.
Yeah, right.
Politicians and many celebrities being related to the royal families who admits that they are descendants of Count Dracula. So this is where he brings in Dracula, and I'm not joking. I wish I was joking. I'm not joking.
Oh no!
The vampire conspiracy begins.
Politicians, celebrities, and even lawyers.
Genealogy shows I'm from Vlad the Impaler.
All connected.
What Prince Charles said is that genealogies show that his family is related to Vlad the Impaler. He may have been joking. It may have been true. But Vlad the
Porcano
Impaler...
los dos.
Sorry?
Porcano los dos. Why not both? In Spanish.
Oh, well, I mean, the
Jingo
thing is that Vlad the Impaler wasn't Dracula. That's the thing. It's a book that somebody wrote based. Bram Stoker wrote a book based upon a real legendary figure, a figure in history.
Yeah.
So, Vlad the Impaler, the whole idea that they went around drinking blood, no, they didn't. He was just a particularly vicious ruler, of a lord of sort of the lands in Transylvania. He wasn't a supernatural monster. He was just a really bad dude. Coincidences or hypnotic spells? Okay, so this barcode thing, 666, it's not. Like, usually the middle bit, if this is a normal barcode, usually the middle bar is like 4 bits. It's usually 8 bits wide, and the 2 on the sides are 4 bits wide. It's not a code. It's not a code. I don't know where he gets this from.
Who knows?
Thank you, Ryan. And the United Nations seem to be in control of all of the narratives and even the air that we breathe. So what do these people that get knighted have in common? And what?
Money. But other than that, I don't know.
Well, some kind of contribution to society,
Hopefully.
kind of thing, or some kind of contribution to the Commonwealth, because the Commonwealth is historically the purview of the English royalty. So they might say, for instance, Elton John was knighted. And it wasn't because he is in league with the devil or something. It's just he did a contribution to music.
But, I mean, he is, though. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, but it's funny that none of the satanic people over in America can get knighted, because they can't. You have to be a member of the Commonwealth. So I can get knighted. You can't. You will never be a knight, and I could be a knight.
I feel really inadequate right now.
You could emigrate. You could come over here, chill out on a beach.
Then could I be a knight then?
Yeah, if you're a Shaolin citizen.
Actually?
Yeah.
Give me 3 examples.
3 examples of what?
Of somebody who emigrated to the Commonwealth and then became a knight after emigrating, and they were not.
I mean, I don't know that offhand.
Give me 3 examples. Well, exactly. You know why? Because you're making it up and you're pulling it. You got limber. You got limber. You stood apart with your knees wide enough, and then you pulled it right out of your ass. You just pulled it. Right
out. Okay. I don't know. You could get an honorary knighthood.
Oh no, Maya's listening.
Yeah, if you get naturalized as a citizen. Yeah. Like, this is his evidence for dragons. Like, this is not evidence for the devil. This is evidence for dragons. I mean, it's not even evidence. What am I talking about? Like, I've got the brainworms now. Yeah. And there's Thuban that we were talking about that used to be the North Star. Nice of him to include it.
Why do we see a dragon and fallen angels in the sky? Maybe numbers, frequencies, arches, and angles are just other ways to say archangels. Thank you very much.
Like, he thinks angles is related to archangels. Like, an arc is reference to an archangel.
Yep.
And it's not. There's no etymological connection between them. Really? You think so?
I mean, I have very low standards on Saturday nights.
Yeah. Oh,
not as low as they are on Sunday night, but
that's pretty. That's probably more information than I needed. But feel free to share. So archangel comes from archi, which means chief, right? It means overview. Arc comes from arcus, which is a bow or curve. Like they have nothing to do with one another. He's just making shit up.
Excellent. Well, we'll end the screen share there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the first step to getting back to our main screen, everybody. So just before we move into Matt's opening statement, everyone, I'm just going to do a little bit of the housekeeping. Dallas, Texas, everybody.
So I know that was a lot, everybody, but that was densely packed, and that's part of the problem. There was so much crammed into those slides, like how you could
going to
possibly
move faster now. Yeah.
Right. So how you could possibly sit in a debate and address even 1/10 of that is ridiculous. It was just, and the thing is, oh, sweetie, you think you've done really well. You think that was like a slam dunk. It's really fascinating to see Howard's confidence in himself over something this terrible. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just,
Yeah.
dude, what?
Yeah.
He's like that old uncle that like cracks a racist joke and thinks he's hilarious. You know, it's sort of like, oh, sweetie, no.
Everybody, Texas. I got to say that right. Dallas, Texas. Everybody's where we're going to be November 4th. Let us know, and 5th. Let us know where you're going to be for our debate con 4. I know Matt's going to be hanging out there. Aaron's going to be there. You can see the promo next to me with David Wood. It's going to be all epic, juicy debates. We're going to be doing politics one day and religion another day. So you can check that out for tickets in the description if you're going to be in the area. Let us know where you are. Anyways, it's always cool to know where our audience is. I'm in Nova Scotia myself. Howard, where are you hanging out?
I'm in Spain, very close to Benidorm.
Hanging out in Spain. Well, it's awesome to hear. And lastly, we have our crowdfund link there. It's in the link below. You can get all kinds of amazing perks, like a signed picture from your favorite debater. Enough of the housekeeping, everybody. Let's kick it on over to Matt. So I gave you a little extra time there, Howard. So if you go over a little over 13, that's fine. Take all the time you need there. Floor is yours, Matt.
Let me start my timer real quick.
The resignation in his voice already.
All right.
Yeah.
So hello, everybody. Good evening. And evidently my apologies. I find this debate to be irresponsible and ill-advised. The subject was supposed to be, is there good evidence for God? And specifically, normally we could have just gone with that. We could have just said, hey, we're going to talk about good evidence for God. And then most of the time you just show up and you take whatever you got and you prepare your rebuttals on the fly. But because we decided on 3 topics, or Howard did, to design of the earth for life, the evidence for Noah's Ark, and the quote, historical and actual evidence of the devil, that's what I prepared to address, kind of. By picking those 3 means we don't have to spend any time discussing morality or cosmology or first cause or ontology or experiential or divine sense or any of that. So one curious thing about the phrasing of this is it's still a lot of ground to cover: design, Noah's Ark, and historical and actual evidence for the devil. So let me start by saying this. In the end, we could have good reason to think that the earth was in some fashion designed, and this would not in any way confirm or be counted as good evidence for a God. You'd need to make a case for a specific designer, not just, oh my gosh, there's things we can't explain, or there's things that might be better explained with some sort of designer. You'd have to make a case for a designer and why it's God. I was going to say, I don't know if that's going to happen. It didn't. We could confirm remnants consistent with a large boat, and it wouldn't confirm the story of Noah's Ark. Sea creatures at the top mountains doesn't confirm the story of Noah's Ark, or that it was Noah, or that it was a God. Doesn't confirm that there was a global flood. Doesn't confirm that there were all the animals on a boat. Doesn't confirm anything about a God. The devil's a bit trickier, though, because if you were to confirm that we have good reason to believe there's a devil, you then have to say, is this devil necessarily contingent upon a God or a specific God? That's the only subject that I was actually really interested in today, because I've debated the design stuff before, and Noah's Ark's kind of laughable. But I was interested to see what kind of evidence we might get for the devil. Matter of fact, I suggested we just do that topic, especially when you say historical and actual evidence, which implies that you don't consider historical evidence to be actual evidence. So even if we were presented for good argument, good evidence for all 3 of those, it wouldn't necessarily confirm a God, which means that if we...
Sorry?
I thought it was interesting what Matt just brought up, that the topic was historical and actual evidence. And I feel agree with him.
Probably a fight over what the subject would be.
There was. He elucidates it pretty clearly, I think, exactly what the disagreement was, as a function of time, because Howard basically tried to change and like swap out one of the topics, and Matt was like, no, I agreed to these 3, and I agreed to these 3 because it includes this one that I care about. I'm not going to let you get rid of this one that I care about.
Right. Yeah, and I think maybe like Howard probably just wanted to do historical evidence for the devil, but I mean, who cares? You know, there's historical evidence.
He didn't want to cover the devil. He just wanted to. He just wanted to
do.
Okay, gotcha. He just wanted to do, I think, more of his numerology flood stuff.
Yeah, his whatever. Yeah.
we don't wind up with good evidence for any of these, then we definitely have not confirmed a God. And while I'm most interested in the third topic, it's the one that is most difficult. I have to see what sort of evidence is presented. And since I had to write my opening before there was anything presented, I didn't include much about it. Sorry, we'll get into that, I guess, later. The second topic, which I'll touch on just a bit, is important if we can address whether or not we can confirm.
This is what
evidence.
happens, Matt. This is what happens when you don't vet at any level your interlocutors.
So I think there is something to be said about that. I also think that there is an onus on the people putting the debate together, that it is going to be a reasonable debate for what people expect. I think that Matt assumed that they wouldn't put him in a garbage fire, and you know, obviously they did, because there's no other way. I mean, James can be oblivious of stuff, like he can be really
He's
oblivious.
not that oblivious.
Well, he can be oblivious of things, but he's got to have known this is going to be a dumpster fire. He's got to have known, like, I won't debate Howard for exactly the same reason, because if we have a topic, he's not going to debate that topic. Like, we know
I was supposed to, and I won't either. His thoughts are not organized enough.
Well, that, and he's got his pet debate topics that he will not stay away from, no matter, you can threaten him with being deplatformed, you can threaten him with anything. He is going to link it in and try for it, because that's what he wants to do. I don't know why he does it. That's what he does. You know, presumably they could clamp down and say, hey, Howard, no, stop bringing this stuff up. For some reason they don't, but look, I get what you mean. Like, when I went on and got Ross, from then on, I said to Ryan, look, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you who it is that I'm debating and get some sort of link to something of theirs before I go on with them. Because that was,
I mean,
like, that was you know, a raging dumpster fire. That was just incredible.
Yeah, and I'm sort of in a similar, like, you've been on way more debates than I have. I've been on one debate on MDD, but I'll probably do more in the future. If people will debate me. Apparently Ryan had a really hard time getting people to agree to debate me on that debate, because he was dumb and told them that I had a PhD. So and
Reed, like, I understand what you're saying if you Google him, but you know, he comes up if you look on Modern Day Debate, like, he's done debates on there before. I've debated him, is it once or twice? I forget. Maybe it was just once and it felt so long, it felt like twice. But I've debated him. Yeah, T-Jump has, you're right, Wolf, and lots of people have debated him. But I get where Matt's coming from, that if you're going to an organizer of debates and you're you know, you're known for having serious debates. Like, you've sat down on a stage with Jordan Peterson and had a discussion. You've debated, you know, Saiten Bruggenkate in an auditorium. You know, you're used to these debates. You know, why would you put somebody like that in against them? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, I will vet people now as well.
Yeah. It's for Noah's Ark. But the various design arguments and the supposed evidence for design are often presented even by those who don't think we've found Noah's Ark, or don't think we have evidence for a devil, or may not consider that, or believe that there's an actual devil to begin with. This notion of design is important. It's presented by serious theologians and believers around the globe, with arguments like a building requires a builder, a painter requires a painter, a lot of different analogies. And I think David Hume probably was best in pointing out that the various analogies are going to fail, because the analogy of a builder requiring, or building requiring a builder, the universe itself isn't analogous to a builder. But even if it were designed, that doesn't tell us who the designer is, or what the designer is, or what the characteristics of the designer is, nor does it identify any specific God. You have things like Paley's watchmaker argument, where you're walking along a beach and you find a watch on the beach, and it screams that it's designed because it is so different from the things around it. But if you believe that God designed everything, that means that God designed every grain of sand. So you're walking on a beach full of watches and picking up one particular watch and saying this one is distinct. If we're going to make an argument for design, it can't merely be we found a mathematical curiosity, or we have something that we can't explain. Because if we have something that we can't explain, then it is unexplained. It doesn't mean that we are justified in asserting or inferring design, or a design by a God. So how do we tell if something is designed? Well, my version of identifying design is that you'd recognize design by
You put a big table and put wheels on it and move all the arms around. That's how you tell. That's how you tell.
Contrasting designed items with things that are not natural or that are naturally occurring. And so you look at things that appear to be naturally occurring, and you look at things that you know to be designed, and you find the hallmarks that are different between the two of them, so that you can direct the evidence. Not just so you can direct your conclusion based on the evidence that either points to design or points to something naturally occurring. If the evidence points strongly in one direction, then we tentatively, because all of our positions are tentative, conclude that design is the most probable explanation. And if it points towards something naturally occurring, then we tend to identify that as not designed. If you were to come across a bunch of sticks and mud blocking up a river, how do you tell if it was designed by, for example, beavers or aliens versus a naturally occurring thing after some river washout where mud and sticks clogged up the river through purely natural processes? Well, you begin by looking at dams that you know to be constructed by beavers. If we had dams that were constructed by aliens, I guess we could look at those as well. And you look for the hallmarks of that. What sort of things happen when that is the known cause? And then you find ones that appear to be occurring naturally after a washout or whatever else, and you see how are those more haphazard? Is there some sort of structure? Is there hacking? And you make a list of all of the features. And you say, these features are all consistent with strong evidence of design. These features are all consistent with strong evidence of something naturally occurring. It is that contrast that is how we infer design. And it's still a tentative conclusion. Because you can have evidence that is consistent with multiple possible claims. You can have something that appears to be designed and it may be designed, and something else that appears to be designed that is not designed. It is incredibly arrogant of humans to take the privileged position that we're in and assume that we are the goal of the universe, that we need to have some sort of explanation for how and why the universe ended up with us. What are the odds of us happening? What are the odds of me? Out of everyone that might have existed, I exist. My parents had to meet their parents and so on and so on and so on. But that mistake in math is similar to saying I had two parents and they each had two parents who had two parents who had two parents. So there must have been more people in the past than there are in the present. This sort of error in looking at things and going with your intuitions about how probable something is or how improbable you think something is how people infer design. And it's not in any way how we actually demonstrate design.
Yep. That's not how we calculate whether something's designed. And he's got a point. If that system of maths has been designed, it means that every single calculation in maths has been designed. So why aren't they all perfect like that one? Why is it that some of them just, won't put together or are just random numbers? Because when you pick a card out of a deck, there's just as much chance for one card as any other card, but it holds some sort of significance for you. Like if you like the Queen of Hearts, you're like, oh, that's the Queen of Hearts. What are the chances? Exactly the same as any other card.
You're assuming that the person who handed you the deck of cards is honest.
Oh, that's true as well. Yeah. And not like inventing a pi as 3.145 to sort of,
Or maybe they took the Queen of Hearts because they have a fetish. And you're not going to get the Queen of Hearts. That would be sacrilegious.
Not everything is about sex, Dr. Tat. Not everything is about sex. Sometimes a deck of cards is just a deck of cards.
When though?
Oh. Look, I've seen Alice in Wonderland. The Queen of Hearts is pretty hot sometimes. I grant you.
I'm saying,
Yeah. No, I get you.
So however unlikely I am, I exist. But there are countless people who never existed. And you could use that to say, wow, Matt is incredibly unlikely. Or you could use it to show that everyone is very, very unlikely. And those of us who exist are merely less unlikely than those who don't. When it comes to Noah's Ark,
there's no reason to think that we're less than likely. Just because a particular incident has been realized in a sampling of a, random variable does not mean that it was less likely. There's a thing that I like to tell people about, and it's the fact that events with probability 0, zero, they have 0 probability of occurring. They can happen. Imagine if you have a square, a two-dimensional grid filled in all the way continuously with numbers, and you just select a random point inside of this square. It's one of the available points that you could select a number on exactly the diagonal, but you won't. If it's a random number, you're going to select a number on the diagonal with probability 0.
Yeah,
but it's still possible.
Sure.
that means that it would almost never happen. Like almost never in probability theory specifically means it is possible but occurs with probability zeros, with probability 0. Whereas almost always would be, the complement of that. Like you select a number that is not on the diagonal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's like, and the other thing is like winning the lottery. Like nobody's got the chances of you winning the lottery is so close to 0, but somebody always wins the lottery. Always.
Eventually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, but somebody.
Not every week though. Yeah. They don't. That's why it gets bigger though, right? Okay. Somebody eventually wins the lottery, but
yeah.
From one week to another, that's like why it gets bigger and bigger, is because it takes a little while, because it's not that likely. Okay. Each week it's not that likely.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't play lotto. You can probably tell.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
But I didn't know what to expect, so I went and did some research on people who have recently even written articles about the possibility of finding Noah's Ark. Do we have good evidence for Noah's Ark? So you have the Ark Encounter from Answers in Genesis that on October 19th of this year, so just like 8 days ago, updated an article with a video, and the article ends with a statement: despite many supposed sightings and evidence in Mount Ararat, it seems unlikely that Noah's Ark has been found in recent times. National Geographic in November 2020, it posted an article on why Noah's Ark will never be found. In 2020, the Institute for Creation Research acknowledged that Noah's Ark had not been found and is unlikely to be found. There have been many hoaxes and forgeries, nothing substantive. No reputable science or archaeological organization supports any claim confirming the existence of Noah's Ark. If it ever existed, it's incredibly unlikely that it still exists in any recognizable form. And if it did, that would almost be miraculous, which means if God wanted to present it as evidence, then he could. Ken Ham, even in 2021, wrote an article basically saying, hey, you guys are probably seeing a bunch of new articles about Noah's Ark being found. We've known about this for a while. It's probably not Noah's Ark. We don't have any good reason to think it is. When the Institute for Creation Research, Answers in Genesis, when those incredibly dubious organizations aren't even on board with Noah's Ark being found, I don't know that anybody could confirm that Noah's Ark has been found or that there's good evidence for it. And if all you're going to...
Well, I mean, Answers in Genesis hasn't been on board with I believe that he's talking about the Durampinda site. They haven't been on board with that since they basically did that. The University of California did that spectral analysis of the petrified wood and found out it was limonite. Like it just.
Oh my. Yeah. At least it wasn't teriyaki.
Well, that is true. That would have been worse for them, but it wasn't great.
You do is point to marine life at high altitudes, and you're ignoring all of the things about plate tectonics and other things. You haven't in any way shown that Noah's Ark exists, or that the story is true, or that it points to a god. Now, the devil, the one that I was most interested in discussing today, hail Satan! I'm not a Satanist, but I find it amusing and funny that there are Satanists, atheists who are Satanists, and it terrifies some people. He's a fallen angel. He's also called Lucifer, Satan, the dragon, Old Scratch, the enemy, liar, Beelzebub. And I wanted to know what was the historical and actual evidence. I'm not aware that we got any at all.
And Howard will do this. He'll gesture in the background, and it's really obnoxious. He'll point at his eye all the time, and it's really obnoxious. It's just sort of being just trying to distract the opponent. It's really, he can't seem to help himself. It's Howard. I really think he should not be in a debating forum.
There are stories of people who have sold their soul to be rich or famous or really great at guitar. And if you were to claim someone sold their soul to be a great guitar player, you don't then get to use their great guitar playing ability as evidence that they sold their soul. That would be a circular argument. You don't get to claim that the discovery of a boat-like structure is confirmation of a global flood, or that the discovery of marine life at high altitude is confirmation of a global flood. You have to make a demonstration of what the best explanation is. And you don't get to claim that the appearance of design is actually evidence of a design. And you certainly don't get to highlight mathematical curiosities and claim that this is evidence of design. That's not what evidence is. Evidence consistent with something isn't enough. The appearance of design is consistent with actual design, and it's consistent with non-design. Evidence are facts that are consistent with a proposition. Facts that support a proposition to explain some observation or state of affairs. And so when you're going through to come up with a candidate explanation for something, you have to list all of the possible candidate explanations, show why they are candidate explanations, show that they should be considered candidate explanations, because otherwise you're going to have an infinite supply, even though I don't like using infinite as a quantity, but an infinite series of potential explanations, because, it could be a red-headed god, a green-headed god, a blue-headed god. Every factor every specific criteria you add to this makes it increasingly less likely, less specific. So how do we identify the devil? Well, the only thing I heard is that throughout history, some people have believed in the devil.
Yep. Oh, and there's a constellation dragon in the sky. Oh, and Prince Charles once said he was related to Dracula. Well, he
Oh,
didn't say
God.
Dracula. He said Vlad the Impaler. But we're going to take it as Dracula, that he was an actual vampire. Like this
Because
guy
reasons.
is reasons. Because when you're looking for evidence to confirm your bias, this is the kind of crap you will find.
There are things to watch out for. There are a number of
100%.
fallacies.
Sorry.
I said 100%.
Yeah.
Argument from incredulity, argument from ignorance. But first of all, citing the Bible is going to be irrelevant. Figuring out what other explanations might exist could be relevant. But to just say this all seems incredibly implausible or improbable unless there's a God isn't evidence, and it's barely an argument. And I'm pretty sure that it's a non-demonstrable, unfalsifiable position. When you point to a bunch of smart people believe something, that's also not evidence for it. I genuinely, and I'll stop here because I hit my, there we go. I hit my 13 minutes, but I have strong objections to continuing this debate, but I'll do it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Matt, for the opening statement there.
He's got strong objections, but he'll do it. Yeah, no, you haven't seen Howard in full flight yet.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. But like I understand where Matt is coming from at this moment, because he's only
he wants to try.
He got one exposure, a 13-minute long exposure of what he was signing up for, and he knows what the writing on the wall is, but he's going to give one more chance.
Yep. Which, well done to him. I wouldn't blame anybody for running screaming at this point, considering
no, and maybe that's the correct decision. If he knows everything that's coming, he should probably just ditch out now. Like, you should do one or the other. The reason
I think he hasn't understood the scope of the
yes. I agree, and I don't think you can. Even if he had vetted Howard. Howard is one of these people that you
I don't know about that.
Okay, maybe not, but I wouldn't be surprised. Howard is one of these people that if you've never interacted with a person like Howard before, it can be hard to appreciate that this is real. Yeah. Interacting with somebody with this level of disorganized belief system and magical thinking.
Yeah.
This level of somebody with those two traits is a thing that really happens and is happening to you right now.
Don't mind everybody if I sound like I'm an old radio announcer from the 50s. This is from 1957. It's an old school mic, so don't mind me. Just remind everybody, once again, before we kick it into an open discussion, our tickets are linked in the description. Dallas, Texas is where we're going to be. Let us know in the live chat right now where you're hanging out. And when you're done letting us know where you're hanging out right now watching this debate, and we're going to be potentially for our November 4th and 5th DebateCon conference, hit that like button. Smack that thumbs up like it owes you money. So with that said, let's kick it into an open discussion. Howard, over to you to respond to some of what you just heard, and let's see if we can get a flow together with an open discussion.
Thank you, Ryan. Not that it matters, but if you Google the word actual, it has two meanings, and one of the meanings is current, present. So just to correct you on that, Matt, not that it matters, but I've noticed you said it the other night as well.
He's using actual as in something that is actual in reality, something that is actually true. He's not using it in the sense that you're meaning. So you're basically taking a meaning that Matt isn't referring to and going, well, I'm going to interpret it the way I want without asking you what you mean by it. And then basically put that onto Matt, which is just ridiculous. He's meaning it as in, so the first definition is existing in fact, i.e. real. And sort of the example it gives is the estimate was much less than the actual cost, right? So the second definition is existing now, current, using actual income to measure the expected income, right? So that's only really used in sort of, it's not the usage he's using. It's so disingenuous. Holy crap. But I mean, Howard doesn't understand how, oh, thank you, Dr. Tap. I really appreciate it. Giving 5 Mark Reed memberships.
Doesn't
You
seem
are a
like something I
generous
would do.
weasel, and I thank you.
I have no idea what you're talking
Okay, let us never speak of it again.
about.
I've shown evidence that's
Chat,
reproducible.
you should do it. You should try gifting memberships right now. It's an incredible dopamine rush. I love it.
These are weasel words. They're all weasel words. I just love that. Bree's like, those are weasel words, and it's like they're always these weasel. Like,
all my words are weasel words.
Yeah, Reed, I hear you. Yeah, talking to Howard, you should just raise your arms like an animal back way. Yeah, but what's the difference between him and somebody that comes up to you on the street and just starts to talk to you about this crazy crap? Like, there's no difference.
No, there isn't. And this is why people don't know this, because it's not necessarily obvious, like on video. I'm 6'4" tall. I'm a tall guy. People can walk up to me on the street and start talking like that, and I can just stand over them and look down at them and just exude elitism from my body language. And most people have a harder time doing that than me. But I have two advantages. One, I'm really tall, and two, I'm a genuine elitist. Yeah.
Elitist, why?
Because I'm just obviously better than everybody.
Oh, okay.
My education, being American, best country ever, #America.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, stuff like that.
Now I feel
being a resident of California, California, y'all are chumps. I don't know.
California girls. Yeah. All right. So now you're just making me feel sad. Robin Webster gifted 1 Mark Reed membership. Thank you so much, Robin. Who got it? Who was the lucky duck? Who got it?
Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie was the reader picking up that. Okay. That's good.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Robin. You are an absolute champ. Yeah, I really appreciate it, everybody. I really do. It's
But I see that people that have got faith in mainstream narratives and secondary information, they seem to be in denial, because if you were truly a skeptic, you'd be interested in going to verify if pebbles do often have the heart shape, and if the heart-shaped stones do have many of these reoccurring features and details that correlate with anatomy. That would be a true skeptic. But otherwise...
Thank you so much, Regius. Regius gifted another 5. Look, I'm going to have nothing but members, I swear, by the time this stream's over. But thank you. I really appreciate it, Regius. Thank you. Thank you so much. America is number
you said, hold on, like you said that like it was a problem.
I don't know. Okay. So real talk. I sometimes have problems with people giving compliments and giving me things. I feel sometimes I feel like I don't deserve it.
What do you mean? Imposter syndrome 100% is a real thing.
Right.
And
right. Imposter syndrome kind of thing.
It's going to affect. It's going to affect creators, just like it's going to affect, in my case, physicists.
Right. And
I've
it's
had
just
so
sort
many imposter syndrome.
Yeah. So I Mark said members. Yes, I did. Thank you so much for that, Doorknob Head. I'll say it again. I said it again. It's a trap. Look, I really do appreciate it, guys. Like 100%. So much love out there to you. It's just, I sometimes feel like I feel uncomfortable when getting compliments, and I've tried to work on saying thank you instead of, no, don't say that kind of thing. And that's just a byproduct of when I went through when I was younger kind of thing. So, no, totally.
And
I really do appreciate it. Sorry?
There is a time and a place for it. There is a time and a place when being the sort of obsequious, no, I can't possibly accept any compliment. There is a time and a place when that is the correct decision. Mm-hmm. It's the exception rather than the rule by far, obviously. And I think that is a thing that wasn't always clear growing up, I gotta say.
And it kind of takes me a lot to say, hey, I am working hard. I put a lot of effort into what I do, you know, and people want to thank me, and that's the way they do it, and that's a good thing. It does make me. I guess you know. I guess I'm getting a bit too deep. Like, where's the tangent emoji? This is crazy. Like, seriously.
Oh
Why do I do
man,
this?
I'm the champion at this. Every time I'm on another channel, like Maya is an order of magnitude better than everybody else at like handling the tangency that just happens.
Okay. And super chat, beheaded kamikaze, $10 dues, 10 Australian dollars. Mark, take my compliment. Thank you for being you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I do. You guys are awesome. Seriously. Yeah, let's get on with it. That tangent emoji. It's just there to remind me to get back on track. And I don't blame you, Taps. Like, I'm just as bad, seriously. So thank you so much.
It's just to ignore it, like many people do, shows me that you're in denial, and maybe it's cognitive dissonance, or maybe it's because you're just scared of the consequences of final judgment. I don't know, but it's crazy because you're always asking for evidence, and that's literally what I've done. 13 minutes of evidence.
No,
we've looked at rocks, Howard. This isn't like a mysterious field kind of thing.
All right. The Titan just showed up. We got to start over.
Oh, okay. I'll wind it back.
All right.
Speaking. Doorknob head for $6.66. Love it. Yep. Training opportunity. Marker is a beautiful, smart, wonderful, charismatic, sweet human being. The world is a better place with him in it. Thank you so much, Doorknob head. That's so sweet. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Oh, you've been listening. Look, Titan is omnipresent. He's always here. Even when you don't see him, don't hear him, he is always being. How can you be on track? Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, Reed. You can't be on track with Howard's not on track. How are we expected to be? That's a good point.
My apologies. First of all, I don't think you lecturing me on whether or not I'm a real skeptic is probably going to go over well for you at all in this debate. But how do you know that I've ignored whether or not stones often have that shape?
First of all, just on the skeptic point,
No.
I'll take you on the skeptic thing first, yeah? Because
no, you've accused me. You've accused me of ignoring and not looking.
Yeah, I actually want to say I don't think. Well, Matt should have let him tucker himself out here. He should just let him make the point and then move on to the next point, rather than trying to make him start with the point he wanted him to start with.
Right.
And I'm bending over backward to find a thing to criticize Matt on and support Howard on that.
Yeah, because if you want to say, hey, because you're not seeing rocks the way I do, you're not skeptical, is ridiculous.
which is the core of the argument. It is absolutely the core.
Yeah. So, you know, and yes, I do acknowledge, hey, sometimes it's good to give Howard enough rope, because he will hang himself with that. He will play out enough rope and sort of trip himself up.
The man's astonishing.
No. But it's hard because, like, the level of insanity you're dealing with is just, it's difficult.
Whether or not stones have that shape. How do you know that I've done that?
Well, you haven't mentioned it in your opening statement. You just kept talking about the...
So he didn't bring up rocks in his opening statement in a debate about Noah's Ark.
That's not how opening statements
evidence,
work.
Design, and Satan. So therefore, he's never looked at a rock before.
And that's not how opening statements work. Okay, if this was a debate with a rebuttal period, he would potentially have legs, but he wouldn't, because Matt would have addressed all of the stuff and probably been like, this is what I'm Matt, like, if this was a debate with like an organized opening and then an organized like rebuttal period, I kind of wonder if Matt would have let the rebuttal period happen and then tried to like call it a day. Probably not, because of all the same reasons I wouldn't and you wouldn't.
I think that he's trying to also stop the gish gallop, like how we'll bring up multiple subjects. I've got a specific way to deal with that, and that's to cover every single subject. But maybe Matt just doesn't have the patience for that, and I don't blame him.
It's also a hard task. You have to think of every single subject. And you're a smart guy, and you've been doing this for a little while, and the people who you're debating, some of them have been doing it for a while, but they're not generally. I'm not going to keep going with that because it makes me sound like a mean person. But my point is, you're smart, and your opponents have inferior arguments.
That's all you need, yeah.
Mount Everest.
Howard, do you realize that my opening statement was written before I knew you were going to babble on about the shape of stones? But you accused me of ignoring, and you said if I'm not a real skeptic, or I would go out and look to see if stones actually have that shape. How do you know what my position is on the shape of stones?
Because if you had been out and looked at the stones, the smooth stones that we find in 4 different environments, like I showed, 4 completely different environments giving the same results, you would either agree that there's something to it, or you'd have your own evidence or reasons why you don't agree. But you didn't even mention. So I'm answering.
I'm asking you again, Howard. How do you know?
That's like saying, hey, you didn't bring up hamburgers, so you either agree that hamburgers are made by God, or you haven't looked at a hamburger. Like it's such a dumb argument. Like he thinks he's doing well. That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not up to Matt to disprove that these organs were actually giant organs. You have to prove that they were.
He thinks he's done that.
He hasn't. He's just made the claim because it looks like it.
Has he even gotten that far? It's not even clear that he's really gotten that far in a lot of these cases.
Over it. He kind of just skipped over it and said they had these ventricles and it looks like this and it looks like... No.
Yeah.
Oh, that I haven't done it.
Because you didn't mention it in your opening statement, which you could have.
Howard, why on earth? No, sir. How on earth am I supposed to mention something? How on earth am I supposed to mention something in my opening statement that I don't know is going to be addressed? I wrote my opening statement before you gave your gibberish.
Gibberish.
It is gibberish.
It is gibberish. Yes.
It is.
I'm sorry. It is.
It is. It was gibberish. I'm sorry if you're not. Nobody is ever doing anybody any favors if you stop and hang your hat on the idea that that's not gibberish. That's gibberish.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing gibberish.
Sure. How would you know it's embarrassing if you have no experience of verifying it for yourself? Oh, I know what it says.
Is this debate about your evidence, or is it about whether or not I'm a real skeptic? Because let's focus on the actual evidence and stop making it about me.
Well, if you aren't a true skeptic,
it doesn't. What I am or am not is not the subject of this debate, and I won't entertain any conversation at all about it. Let's talk about your evidence, not whether or not you think I'm a real skeptic, because I don't give a fuck what you think about me.
Let's try to bring it back to the.
Yeah, so this is sort of Matt. I think this is his gripe at the moment. It's all about Matt rather than his arguments. Like, oh, yeah, you believe this, or you believe that, or you're not this, or you're that. You know, it's irrelevant to the argument. That's sort of what was the previous one that we did? Him and that guy Bob from Bob's Corner or Bob's something. The last one that I did, it was just poisoning the well. It's like your belief on this is this, so you know, kind of your belief isn't very good, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was all about surrogacy and abortion, and just your view on this makes, you know, that is poisoning the well. And he's doing the same. He's saying, hey, you're not a skeptic, so therefore your argument shouldn't be believed. It's not a good look for Howard here. Like, he can say, hey, you've looked at stones. What can you say to refute what I've said that it looks like? And then maybe Matt's got something to work off. Like, you know, I mean, geologists look at stones all the time. They don't come to the same conclusions. But it's hard.
Evidence of Noah's Ark. So let's go back in some of the things you brought up there, Howard, and see if we can get into some of that there on our second point. I'll bounce it around if we get off track here.
It's not off track. It's just that I keep getting interrupted.
It's not off track. No, this is... Oh, dear. Oh, dear. It's not off track. We're talking about Matt being a skeptic. That's not off track.
And
because I'm not going to let you talk shit about me, Howard. You don't get to say I'm not a real skeptic. Whether or not I'm a real skeptic, or whether or not you think I'm a real skeptic, is irrelevant to whether or not you presented evidence. So stick to the topic of the debate, or you're done.
just because you don't see it as evidence doesn't mean it isn't evidence. Because, like I said, there's thousands of people around the world that are finding this reproducible evidence in different parts of the world. Like I said, you've got salt water where the ocean is going in a direction.
What reproducible evidence?
It looks like it.
What?
So
yeah.
It's
such a malformed statement that I'm not even sure what looks like what at this point.
Yeah, it's so weak evidence. That's the thing. He thinks it's sort of, if you look at something, that's a knockout, absolute certainty. And nobody who is familiar with optical illusions, with pareidolia, with confirmation bias, ever thinks that way. Just because a tree looks like a person doesn't mean it's a person. Just because a rock looks like a ship, it doesn't mean it's a ship. Oh, hi, Samami. Hello. Ass looks like
I
a
was
hole
just
in the
saying that
ground.
because Titan was saying hi to Tsunami, but Titan spelled it tsunami, which I totally do all of the time, 100%. And I was like, but this time I remembered, and it's Sumami, not tsunami.
Tsunami. Yeah, absolutely. No, I had to be corrected that on. I just exactly.
bad.
I looked at it and it read to my brain,
right,
tsunami,
immediately,
right? Because that's you just see the word you're expecting.
Sumami and I did not meet last week, right? Like we have clearly been hanging out in the same chats for a while now. But swear to God, took me longer than I would freely admit on camera.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
That
you will
was
see the word you
and not
expect.
tsunami.
Well, you'll just see the word you expect. The word that you expect, because the brain is a prediction machine. It will fill in the details with what you expect to see, and that's very well understood, except by Howard.
Exactly.
You've got sweet water, which goes down the river in one direction, and you've got them in the valleys where you get hit by rain, and you've got them under the mud. So that's 4 complete different environments giving the same results.
Al Trucker, great interview. He was over on Neil 404's Atheist channel, which was great. Remember, 2 months, stone cold hearts are a great reminder of a flood. The flood. Don't talk that way about flood. Stone cold hearts. Yeah. Well, apparently they were the Nephilim, because they were all giant rocks, kind of thing.
All over the world, and people are finding it and uploading the results to YouTube and social media, and people are demanding geology.
Yes, those reputable institutions, YouTube and social media. Yes, that's where all the great scientists practice their craft. That was a dig at you, Tat. That was a dig at you.
I mean, I can never criticize somebody because everything I say is a weasel word, of course.
Well, yeah.
Also, physics is fake and truth is a lie. So,
have you verified it? Have you verified it?
I try to, but they don't want to let me publish my findings because then they have to give me a Nobel Prize. Wait, hold on. That's not a problem. They could do that.
The conspiracy.
I'm white enough, yeah, for sure. Hold on. I don't know what the problem is. I'm sorry. It's confusing at this point.
Biologists and even laboratories to take this seriously. But sadly, most people that have got faith in the
laboratories don't take it seriously. I wonder why.
Because it's not a real thing.
I mean, you'd think they could just test to see if it's organic. Oh, they do? Oh, well. What the hell?
I don't know.
Second information and faith in mainstream narratives, they are unwilling to verify these things and just shun them off.
They're unwilling to verify these things. They're not unwilling. It's just they're not fucking hard. They're just not. Like,
they're not. They're rocks. They are rocks. They are round rocks that have layers that go around in roundness because they're round, and when they erode roundly, and when they concrete, they tend to concrete kind of roundly.
Well, Howard's made the determination that they are hearts from the flood. And so if they don't find that is true, you basically, in Howard's paradigm, he goes, well, they're refusing to do the thing to make it validate what I believe. No, it's just, you're wrong. You're just wrong. Look, as we said earlier, this debate is like passing a kidney stone, quite frankly. I'm going to be so relieved when I get this thing out.
Reggio's, by the way, Reggio's asked a really poignant question in the chat.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, it was, so Dr. T is hiding the magical features of magnets behind a paywall. Where that paywall is the question. And the answer might just be answered if you guys send a whole bunch of super chats and like gift memberships and stuff.
Well, I think
possible.
it's actually
just saying.
Dr. Tap's G-string is the paywall. You put money in, you get things. So, you know, I think that's.
But I will twerk.
I just got to say, I just got to add, this is the first time I've called my co-host a stripper. I just want to make that clear. It's not something I usually do. I'm sorry.
This is also the first time that in the very next sentence, your co-host is offered to strip for money. I will do it. I will do it. I will dance. I will twerk. I will twerk with the whiteboard. And
this is what scientists do for their review boards, their funding review boards.
Yeah,
this is exactly what they do. Like we're just making it rain.
I spent all day fighting with badly written programming languages with the help of ChatGPT. And I come here and I'm able to just like let it all loose because Howard is lowest common denominator on every level.
And we have a 5A Australian. Is that Australian? I can buy a rock tumbler on AliExpress and blow Howard's mind. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think so. He'll probably just. I don't know how Howard would react to that, quite frankly. But yeah.
Yeah.
Howard would probably think that it's, you know, a divine rock tumbler or something. You know, I don't know. It's so weird. $5 dues. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Cool Bico, cool Bico. I'm going to say Bico because you actually have like a bike in the picture, a dirt bike, which is pretty cool. Cool Bico.
So the evidence is there, but it's, are you willing to go and make your own primary observations? It's just like the.
Do you think I haven't seen stones? Do you think I was in the Navy for 8 years? I've been on many beaches. I've been out in nature many times. Do you think I haven't seen stones?
We've all seen stones all of our life, Matt. It was only a year or so back that my friend Mike showed me the correlations, and then I went and made my own collection, just like loads of people around.
His friend Mike showed him the correlations. It's because my friend Mike is just such a good authority on geology.
My name is Mike.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Michael.
I'm Michael Vandegraff.
Do you prefer Mike or Michael? Are you a Mike or you're a Michael?
I go by.
I feel like you look. Well, I feel like you look like a Michael. I don't know why that is.
I'm more of a Michael than a Mike. If I'm going to be one of those, I'm more of a Michael than a Mike. But I go professionally by Vandy.
Okay, cool.
The people at work, and I'm a postdoc.
Yeah.
And academia, you can kind of do what you want in that regard. You don't have to be. You have to be competent. You don't have to be. Physicists are famous for looking unkempt sometimes, right? And let me tell you, I can do that. Hold on, give me a second.
What, you're not unkempt now?
No, I'm just.
Oh, okay.
You've
got
levels.
my hair. You've got levels. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got an amazing mullet. I just
right?
saying you would.
Well, okay. I mean, mullet. I don't think this counts as a mullet so much as it counts.
No. I'm saying you would have, like, if you shaved the sides down, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Probably. I have not cut my hair since before COVID.
Yeah.
Which
around the
probably not a point in my favor.
Look, I'm jealous of anyone with hair, so it's perfectly fine.
Fair
find it
enough.
very, very easy to find the heart-shaped stones. And then when they do find the heart-shaped stones, they have many, many, many details that correlate with the anatomy of the heart.
Yeah,
You
so
can call it a coincidence, like you can call the mathematics a coincidence, like you can
Right,
say
you
that
gotta let
Bendy
him respond
lies
to
is a
some of this here,
coincidence.
Howard.
Well, no, it's kind of synchronicity as the mathematics, but yes, the heart having things that looks like the stone having things that looks like it's just coincidence and confirmation bias. Probably he's probably ignoring all without those things and saying, "Hey, this isn't a good sample," and getting the ones that do have the things that he wants them to have. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
if I have a heart-shaped stone, what is that evidence of?
Of Noah's Ark, because if the whole world was flooded, which is water's conductive, especially salt water, guess what? Arks are made of wood. No, wood isn't conductive. So seeing that there's life now is evidence that some of us were saved and animals were saved, because all the pebbles.
See how he doesn't stay on subject; he's just off onto another subject.
Yeah,
Yeah.
With a dexterity that's very difficult.
Yeah,
all over the world show us how many creatures must have been wiped out in a mass extinction. So seeing pebbles shows a mass extinction. Seeing people and animals alive now shows that some of them were saved to be able to repopulate. I'm not looking for the ark. I'm looking for evidence that there was an ark.
So what you're saying is that heart-shaped stones around the world are evidence of life that was wiped out in a flood, and those are their actual hearts.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Because we've got internal features like chambers, and we've got many things like iron ore that can find inside and outside, caked to the stones, and we get core.
So here's where realization is dawning on how bad this guy is. Like this is where, like, look at Matt. This is realization of this guy is not remotely tethered to reality with an argument like that.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just you're just not talking on the same wavelength,
right?
On any level.
Yeah.
So it looks like fat petrifies into quartz, and it looks like iron ore is that.
Fat does not petrify into quartz. Let me give you the tip now. Fat just rots away. It doesn't petrify into quartz. No, that we can form quartz. We make quartz watches. It doesn't. No.
There because we've got hemoglobin, iron in the blood. So there's many reasons, like I say, internal and external, all over the world, and all pebbles, even the rounded ones, you'll find they're quite easy to stack because organs tend to have a flat or a concave back and a convex, multifaceted front. So yeah, there's many reasons why people are taking this topic seriously.
That's generally what erosions will do to rocks. It will flatten one side, the side that's whatever's sort of laying on the ground. And like as water goes over it, it will sort of make one side sharper kind of thing. It will flatten them out. That's generally what they'll do. That's how mechanical erosion works, whether that is wind or water.
Just seems like a lot of people.
Also, just objectively, like a sharp edge, by definition, takes up a very small amount of area. It just doesn't take that much to grind it down.
Right. Yeah.
People are very against it, so they won't even go and check for themselves because they're not true skeptics.
Okay. Am I a true skeptic or not?
Well, it seems like you're inconsistent when it comes to spike proteins, GMOs, all of the other mainstream narratives that you like to worship.
So what's spike proteins and GMOs got to do with this debate? Like, it's got nothing to do with this debate. It's just stuff that Howard wants to go on about. Like, whatever comes into his mind that he's currently his nitpick on mainstream science is what he talks about. He's absolutely uncontrollable. I mean, I think, again, Ryan needs to come in and say, hey, let's stick on topic. Like, but yeah.
You don't seem to be skeptical. Maybe that's a bad word.
What do I worship, Howard? What do I worship?
Sorry, maybe it's a bad choice of words, but you don't seem consistent in your skepticism. Is it only?
What do you think skepticism is? Since we're going to make this about whether or not I'm a skeptic, what's skepticism?
Well, I consider myself a skeptic because
I asked what skepticism.
I'm trying to get there, Matt, but you keep interrupting me and throwing me off. So I consider myself a skeptic.
That particular one was a little fair. I'll give him that one. Well, he yelled at so he was like, well, I think that this is, and then Matt was like, I don't care, blah blah blah, I want you to answer this question. I was like, okay, well, given the like tenor of how the statement was going, I was like, actually, like, he gets a sentence or two of setup, right?
Well, I think he has correctly predicted that Howard is going to tell him all about his skepticism
Yes,
without actually
100%. Now
defining
he's-
what skepticism is. So I think he's
Yeah.
actually predicted it correctly. You're probably right, though. He probably should have let him not
Well,
say what skepticism
I
is.
could be wrong though, because I wouldn't be surprised if you went back and did an accounting of the conversation so far, if he already did. I would not be at all surprised if Matt already did exactly what I'm saying he should do. And you know, he only has to do it. I mean, he doesn't have to do it at all, but he should only do it once. So
you'd hope so, yes.
Or twice if you're
I
real
don't
nice.
know if the stones are definitely petrified organs, but I'm investigating. So because I'm using the scientific method when it comes to biogeology, I'm using the scientific method when it comes to the globe live research, and I'm also interested in the mathematics when it comes to pi and phi and E, Euler's number.
All right,
I'm
I'm give him a chance to
investigating.
respond.
None
Euler.
of that.
It's pronounced Euler, just for the record.
Euler's
You
number.
know that. I had to learn that from somebody correcting me, but it's not pronounced Euler. It looks like it's pronounced Euler. It's pronounced Euler. Sorry.
Euler, yeah. Look, and none of that is answering what a skeptic is. So the correct answer should be a skeptic is a person that doesn't believe something until sufficient demonstrable evidence has been presented that justifies their belief. That's it. Like, that's all he had to say. And he's going on about maths and things like that. He doesn't know what a skeptic is. He doesn't know what that is.
True.
Because I'm not
get back to
sure.
it.
No, it's fine. Let him keep going.
Thanks.
Let
I'm
him
not
get
sure
going,
what I
yeah.
believe, so I
That's
consider
it.
myself a skeptic. So I use investigation to try and get evidence to back my beliefs if I'm to have conclusions.
All right, we're gonna let Matt
I'm not
respond.
sure what I
Come on.
believe either on many things, but I am confident about some things. But just a minute ago, I asked you if all those heart-shaped stones were actually the petrified organs of animals that were killed in a flood, and you said yes. So clearly you do believe that. So what evidence has led you to conclude that all of the stones that are heart-shaped are actual hearts?
Thanks. They're very easy to find, and there's only two reoccurring shapes, either rounded, which none are like a ball. Like I said, they're all flat, concave at the back and convex.
That's how erosion works. It flattens them off. That's just the dynamics of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a sharp surface only has like a few. It's got a very small area. You know how much effort it takes to dull a sharp surface? You go like across another not super soft surface. Like you can completely destroy a nice chef's knife just by just drawing it across the window. Don't do that. It's a terrible idea. You're going to scratch a window a little bit and you're going to dull your knife entirely.
Yeah, that's not good. But yeah, I get your point though. You know, it doesn't take a lot. Like, things will round off under the effects of erosion. And because things move across the surface of it, like across the top of it, that's going to flatten out more than the front. I don't.
I'm sorry.
It's so baffling.
Chat has been utterly sublime.
Really? I'm sorry, chat.
In my opinion, but Daryl is being a troll, and Daryl's really good at being a troll. I'm a fan of Daryl being a troll, straight up. I think Daryl is an excellent troll.
You may be right. You may be right.
Know.
I don't know.
Convex at the front. They're either rounded, because most organs are, or they're heart-shaped. And the heart-shaped ones have up to 20 details that correlate with the anatomy of a heart. And mountains seem to look like trees, and even titans. So yeah, it's an interesting topic that you should look into. Oh yeah, titans.
What are titans?
Giants.
I think he's talking about like the Greek mythological titans, like the gods that were the gods before the normal gods. I don't know. Where is a rock that looks like a titan exactly? I want to see this. Isn't there a rock
minus.
that's like an old man of the mountain and his like nose fell off or something? Like I
Yeah,
was...
in New Hampshire, the man in the mountain,
Yeah.
and it finally fell apart. They try to keep
Yeah.
it together for the whole time, and all the interstate signs are still like the profile of the man on the mountain, because otherwise you've just got New Hampshire, which is like bad Vermont. Well, it's better Vermont. It's a better version of Vermont, which is also lame. So
giant creatures and giant people.
Like a
Because
blue whale? That's a giant creature.
Well, science suggests that there was higher oxygen levels in the past, so it kind of makes sense that there was giant trees and giant things that needed to...
Hate to break it to you, Howard, but the blue whale is the largest organism to ever live. It's freaking massive. It was bigger than dinosaurs.
Yeah, and that's saying something, because this channel right now, my ego is on it, and that's huge.
Right. That is massive.
Massive, utterly massive.
The extra oxygen and to be so big. I'm not sure. I'm just giving you explanations of why people...
Oh, you're not sure. You're telling him he's not a skeptic because he doesn't come to the same conclusion, but you're not sure. If you're not sure, Howard.
Are taking these investigations seriously, and it appears that they are hearts. Yes, it does, because I have a massive collection of my own that I've managed to find very easily. It's so easy. It's not even difficult if you're willing to investigate instead of just shunning it off because you're in denial.
Well, I don't know why you keep trying. I'm genuinely just sitting here asking you questions, and you're just talking about or suggesting. Do you think I'm shutting it off and in denial?
Yeah, and higher oxygen level, as Doc Dino points out, that's a good point. The really high oxygen levels were happening before the dinosaurs, but that doesn't matter to Howard. It's just in the past don't forget he's a young earther as well. So, in the past was sort of just before the time of Noah.
But
and plus higher oxygen doesn't help lungs that much. It's very good for insects, but it doesn't help lungs that much. Sure, it helps, but not as much as he thinks it does.
It helps linearly, basically, I think.
Yeah.
Well, the things you've said about it and about...
I don't know. Is this debate about what I've said, or is this debate about what evidence you're presenting? Which one do you want to do?
It's all together.
No, it's not all together. No, it's not all together. I'm not the subject of the debate, but if you want to make me the subject of the debate, buckle up.
Let us move into, and I'll pass it back over to you, Howard, historical and actual evidence of the devil. We're going to try to hammer in on this one because I think it was the most interesting thing to both of you to kind of have a yarn about here. So everybody hit that like button, and we're going to move into that point. Historical and actual evidence of the devil. Over to you, Howard.
Yeah, I presented loads of evidence showing that there's been a consistent theme throughout history in different parts of the world. There's evidence of reptilian beings in a higher dimension because there's statues, there's scripture, there's many artifacts that show different type of reptilian beings that have either been physical or at least influenced us from a metaphysical realm. Just like Matt knows, when you can look at a snake through different light spectrums, you see things that you normally don't see. We know that our eyesight is very limited, yet we know there exists a lot more out of our visible spectrum. 7.
Yep. So the last place you think going into a debate about evidence for design, the devil and Noah's Ark is the reptoids, the reptilian creatures. But, it's Howard.
It's
I'm
Howard.
just amazed we didn't. I'm just amazed we didn't get more Dracula, quite frankly. Maybe
Right?
Dracula's a reptoid. I don't know at this point. Maybe he's a reptoid.
I think that he's stunned by how ineffective what he thought was going to be like a crippling blow
knockdown,
with like just a knockdown blow. He was anticipating a knockdown blow with his opening, and particularly the magical rotary thing of numbers that you could do anything with, because you get to put the numbers where you want, because he didn't even get the fourth digit of pi right. The fourth number 4. You can literally count it. Literally, you can count the number of digits that he got correct before he failed.
Yeah,
you can literally count them on one hand.
I'm considering calling that sort of physical diagram he had, the wheel of stupid. There's nothing fortunate about it. I can't call it the wheel of fortune. It's just stupid. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to get sued by them by implying that they have anything to do with it, because they might sue us.
Who's to say what there is and what there isn't when we're blind?
Well, if your position is who's to say what there is and what there isn't, then you're not in any position to say what there is, which means you can't defend a position at all.
Like I said, there is a consistent theme all over the world throughout history. So as we know, they didn't have telephones back in the days. How did they all get the same ideas? Map makers, statue makers, and people that have written all the different accounts of dragons, reptiles, lizards, snakes. They're all connected. And it looks like this theme has been promoted throughout history without people being able to let the other artist or sculptor in another continent know what he's creating. So for the consistent theme to have been present throughout history, that's evidence that there was something influencing, or maybe still influencing, our physical reality.
Okay, so if there's something that's influencing our reality for people to come up with, let's say, stories of dragons, what are the candidate things that are influencing our reality?
What, sorry?
Well, you're basically suggesting that, for example, I'll just go with dragons. People in different cultures have come up with stories of dragons, and you're saying that there's a consistent theme. And for you, that means that there's something influencing, something guiding, or some common thread that is getting people to a similar narrative about dragons, right?
Well, there's bone discoveries.
I'm asking you, is that what you're saying? That there's this narrative, so there must be there's got to be a reason why people are coming up with similar explanations.
Yeah,
right?
and I'm guessing it's personal experience or bone discoveries.
Wow, it's like you. So
I
was asking that question.
I'm going to speak, but it's okay.
Well, just
go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to be fair, just because I have given you quite a bit of time there, Howard, where you are on the affirmative, so we'll pass it back to Matt there. Just
Yeah, if I ask you a clarifying question, it's not an opportunity to go into another sermon. So if we're going to agree that, if we're going to agree that there must be some reason why people are coming up with similar stories, my question was, what are the candidate explanations for why people have come up with similar stories?
I feel like I've answered the question already.
He's asking, are there any alternatives to people sculpting and doing this art than those things in reality existed? That's what he's asking.
Well, he's answered the question already, Mark. I'm not sure when. Exactly.
I'm not sure what you mean, candidate.
Well, people might come up with similar stories because they have similar experiences. They saw real dragons, or they saw things. I have bearded dragons downstairs. Those sorts of things. It's not very unlikely that people would say, "Oh, we have human beings, and some humans are faster than others, and so there must be some human who's the fastest, and some human who's the strongest. And here's a snake, and here's a bird. Let's put the wings of a bird on a snake and create another creature and tell a story about that." But none of that points to anything that's actually true. But you seem to be.
Yeah, and the thing is that dragons over in China didn't have wings. They were just long snakes that flew by the power of a pearl embedded in their head. They were completely different than the Western dragons. So it's a bit of a problem.
Suggesting that if people have come up with stories about devils and demons, that this commonality in a narrative suggests that the best explanation is that they point to a true being.
Yeah, because
how do you demonstrate that that's the best explanation?
Well, a lot of these statues have been sculpted in temples and pyramids where we still today don't understand what technology they used. So if they were advanced in the past, it suggests that they knew what they were on about. Because,
and this is the thing, this is sort of the argument from incredulity, or the argument from ignorance. If we don't know how they did it, they must have had sophisticated technology. Or I don't believe they could have used primitive methods, so it had to be sophisticated technology.
Exactly. It's an infuriating thing. Just because people existed in a previous time when, you know what's a remarkable thing?
What's that?
The ancient Egyptians and everything they did. That's remarkable. It's not where I'm going with this, but it's true. That's all very remarkable, right? Like the pyramids and everything. You know what they didn't have, as far as I know, I could be wrong, and if I am, please correct me. Glass blowing. the ancient Egyptians did not have glass as like a thing that they did. And they were surrounded by sand. I mean, it's what you make glass out of.
Mm-hmm.
I find that remarkable.
Well, the reason why the West had glass and the East didn't is because of wine, that we wanted to see what the color of the wine. So glass had a big link to making a container where you could see the color of what you were drinking.
It's fascinating. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Alcohol has been behind a whole few things in the past, kind of thing.
But does it that doesn't explain why it didn't happen in Egypt, does it?
There's not a whole load of grapes in Egypt, mate.
Well, okay, that's fair. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. But for thousands of years.
Oh, like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's no reason why we should.
It's surprising. It's like
there's no reason
why
we should think they were advanced if they couldn't do glass. Like, there's no reason.
And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's surprising that it is surprising that they couldn't do glass, considering how advanced they were. They were very advanced.
Yeah. And I mean, Howard's saying they're more advanced. They had this alien technology, or they were working for the reptilians, or whatever is current conspiracy theories going on about. And there's certain technologies that they just didn't use. I mean, they were using chariots. They didn't even ride saddleback kind of thing. It's nuts.
Yeah.
They weren't just doing it artistically, they were doing it to leave a message.
I'm sorry, what I was asking was, what method can we use to determine what the best explanation is? And your answer is, if they have methods we didn't understand, maybe they were more advanced. What the hell does that have to do with my question?
I'm saying the method is looking at the overwhelming vast amount of evidence in different continents, places that we still don't know how they built. And you look at it as a whole, and that method is stronger than no method of just denying it. See, that's the thing, you're putting me on the spot. I would like to...
It's stronger than no method of just denying it. What the hell?
I have no idea.
If I look at it as a whole and determine, hey, they did this, that's stronger than saying I don't know how it was done. Are you serious, Howard? What the hell?
I mean, what you just said there is at least coherent, though. And I don't think that's where he was coming from. Because it was coherent. I might be mean. But I don't think I'm wrong. I don't.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe rocks are hearts. Have you ever thought about that? Have you looked at a rock?
Hold on. I can go find a rock. Where's the rock?
Okay.
I'm not putting you on the spot, sir. You picked the subject of the debate. I'm asking you how you demonstrate the conclusion that you've reached while mocking other people as not real skeptics. How do you reach the conclusion that stories about the devil are best explained by there being an actual fucking devil?
Yeah. Like I showed in the opening statement, there's a massive accumulation of evidence when it comes to the stars, when it comes to Count Dracula being in the order of the dragon, and Count Dracula now being in the royal family, being descendants of Count Dracula, all the politicians and many celebrities being connected.
Is this the rock?
So it looks like there's a serpent seed, a serpent bloodline in our physical reality.
I was looking for a rock. I think I found a rock. Did I find a rock?
I think that's a giant kneecap. I think is what that is. Maybe
giant
a vertebrae.
Kneecap.
Sure. Yeah, I think.
Well,
so.
That explains why my leg is bleeding.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Why is your leg bleeding?
Because I ripped out my kneecap. What do you mean?
Okay, yeah, don't do that.
Actual, as well as historical, yeah. Like secret societies, Matt. I used to be a Freemason. I don't know if you are, but I know that I was. So I've got personal experience of secret societies. And I understand that these secret societies go into darker side orders. And that these kind of fraternities, like the Order of the Dragon, have been around for a very long time. And they have a common goal. a new world order, which is slavery, like the United Nations Agenda 2030 looks. Yeah, slavery.
Yeah, so this is Howard in a nutshell. He gets flustered by something and goes just tangents off. And I'm going to put a good tangent for Howard in the chat. There you go, Howard. He tangents off into whatever his conspiracy theory is. Like he just goes, oh, thank you, Dr. Tab. Oh, thank you, Vandy. I'm going to call you Vandy. Do you prefer Vandy?
I honestly, it's not a thing that I care about, but you can totally call me Vandy.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so he just sort of tangents off into whatever conspiracy. Like, don't forget, he's talking about the New World Order and stuff as if it's evidence for design, proof of Noah's flood, or evidence for the historical or actual devil. Like, it's just so bad.
Where we have little freedoms because we've been scared into believing we're to blame for everything, like the climate change, while they're the ones that are manipulating the weather, like I showed in my opening statement.
All right, we're getting off track again. Sorry to interrupt here. So
yeah,
I'm going to try to get us back on base here and just ask you, Howard, for your definition of what the devil is or what devils are, and try to get us back on that topic. So back over to you, Howard.
We're all on the topic. It's a higher dimensional energy, being, conscious entity that has an influence in this world. Like the Bible says, the God of this world, not the creator of this world, but the God of this world, because he has influence. And the thing is, the reason I'm talking about the United Nations with the artificial weather modification, the geoengineering, and all the narratives that they're in control of, is that they have the snake on the logo of the WHO, so they seem to worship reptilians, just like the ancients did the statues. So there's lots of evidence. I didn't have much time to prepare for the devil.
Is this where
I didn't want to talk about it in this debate. I wanted to.
I think that's where he made the decision right there.
And number and nature, because it would have gone with the other stuff that I presented. But as Matt wanted me to talk about the devil, I put it in last minute. But I feel like I showed enough evidence in that 1 minute. But if
that's disingenuous.
Okay. I'm not the only one.
Okay, so.
What's disingenuous? What exactly? You're going to have to be more specific here.
What he just said, Matt wanted me to add the topic of the devil last minute. That's disingenuous. Yeah. The devil was the thing that Matt originally agreed to. It was the baseline that they started from, was a debate that included as one of the three main points a discussion of the actual and historical, two distinguished things of the devil. Now, was Matt kind of playing a little bit of sophistry potentially in engaging with that particular distinction between actual and historical? Like a little bit, but you're signing up to do that when you do a debate like this. You just are. You just are.
Yeah.
But this guy, yeah.
So first of all, James approached me with a list of topics for this debate. The devil was on there from the beginning. I asked if we could only do that because it would be interesting. You didn't want to do that. You wanted to do all three of them. And 3 days ago, I got word from James that you wanted to completely pull that after we'd done preparation.
That's not true.
You take it up with James. Let me finish fucking talking.
Yeah, but you're misrepresenting me.
Shut the fuck up. I'm talking.
You shut up. You're talking about
Shut up,
me.
Howard. I'm talking.
We'll let you respond.
You interrupt me all the time.
Matt's giving his perspective, right? If you want to say, hey, that's not what happened, Matt's saying that's what happened from my end. That's what I did. I talked to James, and then he told me you wanted to pull the topic. That might be 100% true, and you're saying, hey, that's not what happened. I didn't tell James that. He's saying we'll take it up with James because that's what Matt experienced. And from somebody that's sort of giving these anecdotal, oh, well, you know, I've got people experience God all the time. You should understand that you're just describing what he did. Like, I understand Matt getting angry because he's trying to say, hey, that's not what happened. You're not Matt. You don't know what happened. Sorry.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I completely understand where you're coming from. I think that if I were to talk with Matt Dillahunty, I would need to have a very good internet connection because otherwise I would piss him off.
Yeah. I mean, look, Matt's been, you know, obviously we've all noticed he's had less tolerance in recent years. I think that I would probably, like, considering the amount of crap he's putting up with.
Yeah. 100%. I get it.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. like and Howard's just sort of he's really misrepresented. I mean, even the moderator said, let's get back on topic, and he's like, no, I am on topic. Stop arguing with the moderator, dude. Like, pull your head in.
Right. Just you know what? Like, I've done that, and it's embarrassing, and I shouldn't have done it when I did do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah,
it's a bad look, and even when you're right, it's a bad look.
So here's the thing. Here's the way I equate it, and what I tell people who, if they ever ask me, I want to get into debate and stuff. It's the moderator's like a referee or an umpire in sport. You don't have to agree with the call they've made. As sort of like, imagine you're a player in that sport, like you're playing tennis. They make a call. You don't have to agree with it. You can say, well, I disagree, but you have to respect that call, or else you're going to be looking at being a really bad sport. Really, the crowd's going to think you're an asshole because you're just, you just have to accept it and keep going. Sort of when you accept the debate, you are acknowledging, hey, I'm allowing this moderator to make the calls. Wrong or right, you can believe they're wrong. That's fine. That's 100% fine. Thank you so much, Regios. You are an absolute god in human form, but I won't worship you because I think you're an evil god.
I had to follow Regios's example.
Yeah, I know, buddy.
What a champion!
Well, look, don't gift and don't drink and gift. Okay, just don't make yourself broke over me. But thank you, and thank you for Vandy, Dr. Tapioca Weasel for one gift membership. But Regios had 10, so he's using base 10.
Yeah, I mean, Regios is a champion, and I'm a poser.
Actually, that's the thing. You can't have a base 1 number system. That is true.
Well, not with that attitude, you can't.
I do have an attitude. I grant you. I grant you.
This debate is over. It is irresponsible to put you on the air anywhere to have discussions like this. This debate was supposed to be about evidence for God, and you gave 3 specific talking points.
So Howard's keenly aware that he couldn't answer Matt's questions and had to do the old Howard hustle off to the side, or the stirrup stampede to get away from that by pulling out all of this conspiracy theories, right? So he's more than happy for it to end, because he gets to say, hey, I won the debate kind of thing. You don't win a debate by just making your opponent so mad that they rage quit. That's not winning a debate. I don't think there is winners to a debate. I don't think there's losers to a debate. It's supposed to be an engagement of ideas, putting them up against one another. I really don't. Sorry?
I think it depends on the debate. I think that's a somewhat idealistic way of looking at it, but I'm not exactly the kind of person to call somebody out for being idealistic. So,
Oh, I got a better one for you, Brody. I thought up this one. I've got modern day debacle. Like, how do you like that one? I think that's pretty good, right?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah. I think I beat you. Look, it is what it is. Look, he's really overjoyed that you've made him rage quit. It's just, what are you doing? You're completely incoherent. You're impossible to interact with. You change the subject. I don't blame Matt for walking out on this one.
No, I agree.
Oh, James, if there is, link it to me, because I don't understand how that can work. I really don't understand how that could possibly work.
Is confusing to me.
So maybe that's my ignorance. Just send me a link or something, mate, if you can, or tell me where I can find it. I'm sorry, I'm tangenting again. Tangenting show. Base 1 system.
That doesn't make any sense. The whole point of the base system is that the ability and the quantity of number that you're able to describe with each additional symbol is a multiplicative factor of the set that you were previously able.
It's a unary number system to represent number n. A symbol representing 1 is repeated n times. So I get what you're saying. It's a bijective numeral system, so it's not really base 1. It is unclear whether it be appropriate to say that it is a base or radix as 1, as it behaves differently from all other bases. So yeah, you still need something else apart from that base 1. So I would probably say, like, it's a good point, and I'm glad you brought it up, because seriously, I was unaware that even existed, but it kind of still uses another unit, basically, another unit. Yeah. Did Regios just send in another 10? Am I reading that right, or is that? Oh no, that was from before. That was
from
before.
I do not think so. But he
totally
totally
put it up again. I'm going to put it up again. Just
do it again.
Just do it again.
Yeah. We got 10 Mark Reed memberships.
God,
take a drink. Take 10 drinks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
There you go. Look, one day I'm going to be professional. You wait. I'll sort my shit out, and you'll all see one day. One day I'll be entertaining.
My whole plan is to hang on everybody else's coattails, like you and Maya and all the other people. And like, because here's the thing: if just one person in that constellation of people that I suck up to all the time, if just one of them like makes it like Oprah big, I'm set, right? I'm set. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, look, you can ride my coattails all you want. I'm very happy to have you riding. Like, I feel like Top Gun. You can ride my. You can. What was it? You can ride my tail anytime.
Yeah.
That's. I love that Quentin Tarantino thing, which was like, oh, that is like a Top Gun is just a movie about a guy becoming comfortable with their homosexuality. Is just so hilarious. If you've never seen that speech by Quentin Tarantino, it is genius. It is so good, like so good.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And now you're saying you didn't have time to prepare for the devil, you didn't want to, but you've talked about Dracula and Freemasons and secret societies and Order of the Dragon and New World Order and United Nations. This is batshit crazy conspiracy theorist stuff. I don't care if James feels like paying me for this debate or not, but I'm.
Oh, come on, you're like, isn't that shit crazy conspiracy stuff? Like, you've never been told that before. Like, nobody's ever said, hey, that's batshit crazy. Yeah, Howard, you've been told that so many times. And you're told not to bring up flat Earth as well.
So have I. I also get told that a lot, and I'm not great at following. Directions.
I'm done. I'm logging off. This debate is over. Nobody should pay any attention to you. You need to seek help. Goodbye.
So he apologized for that part. You need to seek help, kind of thing. He thought it was not his place to say. And look, I can completely, I
see where he's coming from, but I think he was right.
Well, I think he's willing to admit that was definitely a wrong thing to do, kind of thing. He's not a psychologist and psychiatrist, but something's wrong.
I don't think you if you genuinely think that, based on all of the information that you do have at your disposal, it is more likely than not that this person should seek help. I don't think I see what you're saying.
I see
what you're saying, that it's not your position, but I also see the alternative position. It's one of these things where I'm not going to judge somebody harshly either way. I see both explanations, because if that's what you think, like, I don't have to be a medical doctor to know certain things about what's okay for people to do and what's bad for people to do. Certain things.
Yeah. But if I had a friend that was talking this way, I would be concerned. I would be really concerned.
Yes. I've had to think about that, actually, because of a mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I really hope that you, yeah, all right, well, there we go. Matt has dropped out of the debate, unfortunately, everybody. So we do have a Q&A here. I am sorry for putting you on mute there, Howard. You didn't have most of the speaking time, so I did want to give Matt a chance to get his thoughts out. But I am sorry.
He thinks he's done well. That's just the baffling thing to me. He thinks he's done fantastic.
Yep.
Problem. Can I just get a closing statement? Because when someone's misrepresenting what I've said and what happened, like now, and also the other night on his own.
Since when do you care about you misrepresented Matt the entire time? You basically said he wasn't a skeptic without giving a definition of what a skeptic was, I might add. You just said you are one because you look at math.
Yeah.
Like
what? What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Show, it's not fair, right? I didn't change nothing. I told James 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago.
That's a double negative. That means you did. Just saying. I'm just going to nitpick because I feel petty at the moment.
What topics I wanted to do, and it was a miscommunication because he gets a lot of emails, so I'm not blaming James. I just wanted to explain to Matt that I've done my best to prepare evidence that I didn't plan on doing, and I feel like I've shown enough. And let me just say one last thing for my closing statement.
Yeah, but Matt was telling you what he got from James and what his experience was from James, and you basically said, no, that's not what happened. You weren't him, Howard. You can't say that. You can say, hey, that's not what I got from, this is what I got from my end. Maybe there was a problem in the way it was communicated through modern day debate, but you can't say he didn't experience that because you weren't fucking there. He's not saying that you did, like you changed it kind of thing. He's saying that James said you changed it. And when you say, oh, no, I didn't, we'll take that up with James. I get what Matt's saying.
Yeah.
Because if you know, somebody said, if I got an email from James saying, hey, this has been added, or, you know, this is the debate, I would say, hey, that's what I got from James. Whether or not you said it to James, I don't know. I can't confirm nor deny that because I'm not James.
I've never interacted with James. I've interacted only with Ryan.
Oh, look,
also.
James. Look, James. James
I'm not criticizing. I want to be very clear. I'm not criticizing. I'm just stating as a fact because here's the thing: modern day debate is a large enough platform at this point. It's not all one person. It's too big for one person.
Yes.
To do it. Modern day debate is a platform which is pretty big at this point. They're not huge. They're small enough that you and I can, in a pinch, if we really needed to, get in contact directly with the person who runs it. But they get 10 times bigger. I won't be able to immediately. You still will be because you actually produce content and have people. And how many subscribers do you have? You don't have enough because the people who are watching this need to smash that like button and the subscribe button. I'm just saying.
I'd appreciate it if you could smash that like button, like Howard smashes a rock that he finds to find the aorta running through the middle. That was a good segue. That was an okay segue. But here's the thing. Like, my engagement of James, he's always been to a fault honest. Right? Like he really tries to be as honest as possible. And he makes like he says, hey, we have these people on because I want everybody to be able to give their opinion. He doesn't say, hey, no, we only have like he really does be upfront about what he's trying to do. And James makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. That's the thing. Like you can't expect him to be perfect. I've had stuff ups on debates over at Snake Was Right. And on Amy's channel, you know, miscommunications happen. It happens, you know, especially when you're trying to organize like a debate nearly every single day. That's why I give Standing for Truth credit for being incredibly organized, because he is. It's incredibly organized. I give him credit for that. I don't know what he learned over at the used car lot, but whatever it was got him organized. But, you know, James has been nothing but honest with me and honest about the debates and, you know, stuff like that. It's, you know, I don't think Matt is blaming James. I think that it has been a case of trying to communicate with communicate
That was
with the
rude,
rock.
but
It does
was
say in the
rude,
Bible.
but
It does say in the
like,
Bible that the rocks hear and can speak. So
I mean,
there is something to that. Just saying.
like, yeah, I'm a dick, but
Oh god, now I'm just imagining Howard
not.
sitting down and talking to a rock like, "Are you there, God?"
It's me, Margaret.
I haven't promoted theories. I've shared factual evidence where Prince Charles admitted he's a descendant of Count Dracula, and I can show evidence that Count Dracula was a member of the Order of the Dragon. Everything I've said and shown is factual. Maybe my conclusions are not right.
Yes, but it's not factual that the Order of the Dragon and being related to Dracula equals that he's some kind of satanic vampire. Like,
Well,
you haven't
but
made
he's
that
saying
connection.
He's saying maybe
willing
my
to-
conclusions are not right, so that counts.
Like, does he realize that?
No. I don't
Okay.
know where you're going with the sentence, but the answer is no. He doesn't realize.
Well, see, the thing is, the dragon, like, so he's not aware that the dragon is a symbol of Wales, and Prince Charles, when he was a prince, was the Prince of Wales, right? He doesn't seem to understand this at all. It's not a conspiracy. It's just he's associated with a dragon because he was the Prince of Wales. It's not a conspiracy, Howard. Ugh.
Talk about this, but people just telling me it's conspiracy theories is denial. It's denial. And I'm glad that he's left. It shows that he doesn't want to talk about it.
All right, I don't want to put you back on mute there, but I will ask Howard.
Yeah, no, but yeah, he's just part of the conspiracy, right? If he doesn't want to talk about this crap, he's just in on it. That's the logic.
100%.
Just for courtesy of our audience here, we do have some questions in our Q&A. If you don't mind answering a few of the questions, we'll try to rock through them. I am sorry, everybody, that we weren't able to continue the debate as we would like to. Matt is more than welcome to come back if he would like to participate in the Q&A, but
quite frankly, I would have preferred that they don't let Howard talk about Matt while he's not there to
agree.
defend himself. I think that if one person walks out,
I mean,
you should just drop it, not talk about Matt.
We can stop right now if you want.
For
that reason.
Well, I mean,
that's fair.
Well, no. Well, do you want to stop? Have you had enough of Howard? I mean, he's very pleased with his performance. He's, I'm not sure why you aren't pleased. He's very, very pleased.
I have eyes and an ear, and at least one ear. I may have two.
Okay.
It's not clear to me, or other people. I mean, if somebody says yes, I want to keep listening to this.
Okay, well, I'll start a poll.
I don't know if it's a responsible thing to accept them at their word regardless, right? Like, Well, but in the meantime, we should absolutely continue with this insanity.
Okay.
We'll continue on. Let's see here.
Can I just ask, if Matt does come back, can he stop calling me names and stop swearing? That'd be great.
All right, Howard, I'm just
stop talking about Matt. He didn't call you names. I don't remember him calling you a name. I don't remember that. Does anyone remember that? What was the name he was called? He said this stuff is conspiracy theory, and he said he shouldn't debate anywhere, but that's not calling you a name.
It could be calling him a conspiracy theorist.
But he didn't. He said it was conspiracy theories that he was going through. He might have just taken that as derogatory, sure. But and swearing, I'm sorry, Howard, you don't get to determine whether people swear or not. If modern day debate allows it, then modern day debate allows it. You've just got to get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I generally don't swear when I'm debating. I generally don't swear when I'm working. I think it's sort of inappropriate. Sure, but I mean, don't forget that don't forget that my background is sort of, I have to deal with customers. I had to deal with customers for a long time. I was in IT support. So you just moderate your language because there are people to deal with who you don't know if they like it. But I've got no problem with it. I think I would protest that a bit of excessive swearing on my channel, but it's fine. I mean, fuck it. Just let one fly occasionally. I don't care. Excessive would be bad, but That's just from my background, and that's fine. But I wouldn't go into a debate and say, "Hey, you can't swear." If the format, if the forum allows it, then you can swear all you want. I don't, and I respect if they say, "Hey, we don't like swearing." Some of the Christian debate channels don't like it. I respect that. I respect it. I don't swear, but it's up to the people running it, right? And you should, because again, when you accept the debate, you accept the constraints of that debate. If they're a Christian channel, they don't like swearing, you respect that. That's my opinion. But you don't get to decide who swears and who doesn't.
You don't get to decide on the code of conduct at somebody else's house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can do that at your house.
Yeah.
And only your house, unless like there are exceptions, you're not obligated to let somebody abuse you or take advantage of you ever.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. I think that's what the Satanic Temple promotes.
I was going to warn you right now. If you mention that again, I'm just going to put you on mute just because we're going to try to move on from what we just had happen there, and we're going to try to answer our Q&A questions without that context. Okay, so I'm going to count on you, buddy, to work with me here. Paul Brassfield, Howard, would you say you trust your average college professor or your favorite YouTube personality when it comes to science or history?
If this person had paid any attention, I'm talking about reproducible evidence versus secondary information. So whenever I get information, whether it's from a YouTube or a professor, I like to verify it for myself. And then I might make a conclusion, or I might keep an open mind. But I don't just jump into a belief system because of something I've been told to believe, which seems to be the average position of the atheist.
All right.
I think that was the rocks talking to him. That's the rocks.
Yeah.
Because they talk and they can hear. The Bible says so.
Okay, let's continue on. $2. Howard, would Satan deserve your forgiveness?
I don't know how to answer that question. Only God can judge. There you go. Only God can judge.
Okay. This one came in from Scott Lawton, said, "Thanks for everything you are, Matt." I don't know if you're watching, Matt, but Scott messaged to be a fan there. And, if you did enjoy the discussion up to this point, it's a shame things didn't work out the way we were hoping, but hit the like button. If you have a chance, we appreciate that a lot.
Props for Ryan for trying to recover the stream. Like it's done at this point. It's burning on fire. It is burnt down. He's trying to, oh well, if you liked what you saw, dude, you're trying to put lipstick on a pig right now. Quite frankly, it's over, man. But props for trying. Look, it's a very Australian thing, right? This is a tangent, but it's a very Australian thing. We appreciate someone that battles onwards even though all hope is lost, right? Somebody, we call it an Aussie battler, right? Somebody that has keeps losing and losing and losing, and they just keep going. We love it.
And to be fair, there's a very similar ethic in America.
All right, yeah.
No, in this situation, if I had a business and I had an employee, if they were dealing with this situation, I would not begrudge them, but I would hope that they would try and YOLO it like Ryan is doing.
Yeah, he's doing his best, and it's a terrible situation. Like this situation for a moderator is so hard to make anything out of it. Yeah, it's just you've lost one of your guests. There's no debate. It's gone. You've got. You don't own the channel. You're just being a moderator. It's a hard situation. It's a hard situation.
Yeah, no, you're totally screwed.
The only voice you've got to keep the audience there is fucking Howard. That's the worst part of all. That's all you've got to show.
Yeah, you can't do anything with that.
And says $4.99. Why would Matt waste his time with someone like Howard? He doesn't believe in the globe model. So we're not going to be talking about that this evening. We already decided on that. But
the point is, the word he said was believe. I'd like everyone to just pay attention to that. Believe, because you can't demonstrate it. Okay. Thank you.
There's next one from Simon.
Wow.
He doesn't realize that knowledge is a subset of belief, right? That if you believe something, you can also know it. And you have to believe something in order to know it. It's kind of, it follows that you believe it if you know it. That's the thing, Howard. You're an embarrassment.
I think he would deny that, though.
You think? How could you possibly know something, so have a justified true belief of something, and not believe it?
Because that's what belief and knowledge is. How do you not get this?
Reasons.
And Alan, for the kitty, always good to see Matt debating, and Howard's a one-off. I'm not sure what they're getting at there. Kango44, why does modern day debate platform Howard? I mean,
I kind of feel sorry for Howard. This is just a like pile on Howard after show kind of thing, like, which I suppose is what we're doing. So I can't judge the audience too much. But yeah, mate, shocking. Yes, so sorry, but shocking.
Because I've got evidence. So what, like a lot of the moderators say, attack the arguments, attack the evidence, don't attack the person. But if you want to attack me, that just shows that you're unwilling to look into this information for yourself. So good on you for showing yourself up.
All right, let's carry on there, buddy. Penniless Poppy, perhaps this.
Yeah, but no one's attacking you, Howard. They're attacking your arguments. That's what they're attacking. Like when we're saying, hey, you're just saying, hey, look at these rocks. They have to be hearts because they look like hearts. That's not attacking you. It's attacking your arguments.
This is just the universe we live in without a designer. How do you know that 3.14 and 1.618 were designed?
I don't know nothing. I was just showing evidence for why I have taken it.
I don't know nothing. But you're presenting it as fact and as this is absolutely true. You're presenting it as a knowledge claim. You don't say, hey, I believe this. You're saying, hey, here is the evidence, the justification for the belief that these numbers are significant. That is a justified true belief, which is the definition of knowledge. This is why everyone's so baffled. It's like you present this as, hey, this justifies a belief and a certainty that this thing is true, but I don't know it. It's very strange. It's very strange.
Position, and I've shown a lot of correlations in the number. We could see that pi and phi work very well together. And I was hoping to present more about pi and also about phi and nature. But sadly, Matt was very insistent that I talk about the devil because it was one of my 7 that I offered months ago in September, I think it was, on Twitter. So yeah, it's all cool with me. I'm really happy with how this has went because I don't care what people think about me.
September is not months ago. It is 1 month ago.
Yeah.
1 month.
Yeah.
One.
Maybe time travels differently on a flat Earth. Maybe time's extended and distorts from, the incredible mass of his head. I don't know. I'm making things up.
Now you sound like a globe earther with your relativity nonsense.
Oh, yeah. Gravity's not a thing. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah.
Right.
But Matt said something interesting, and I do agree with him. Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree with him. He said he's not here to sort of engage. He's there just to put the information out there, which is strange because that's not what a debate is. Like, if you want to put the information out there, make YouTube videos. In a debate, you're expected to engage with the arguments and actually justify your reasons for believing in stuff, not just assert them as fact, which is putting the information out there.
Yeah,
to make their own mind,
it's utterly baffling.
I'm asking anyone to believe.
All right, we're going to wrap this up quicker than what we wanted to, of course, where we don't have everybody here. But question for Howard, listening to you, I am interested why you do these debates. You know very, very little about the subjects you talk about. Wouldn't it be better to use your time to read a book? That's a little bit.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's because I've literally just answered that question. So I'll repeat myself. I don't care what people think about me. I'm here. I don't care about the debate. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to share information and get feedback. Maybe I'll change my mind. But if people are going to
See, he's not interested in the debate. Then why do you have a debate? Why are you debating? Oh, I'm not interested in the debate, but I'm. Yeah, that's. I guess that's what he wants. It's to do a dissection on this though, to have somebody at the end of the debate go, well, I'm not interested in this debate. Why are you here then? Like, you're just basically saying, hey, I was dishonest. I agreed to do a debate. But really what I wanted to do is just smuggle in all this crap that I wanted to tell people. A very little relevance to the debate.
And I think this went really well for Howard from that perspective.
Perhaps, yeah. Maybe. I mean, he certainly got a lot of attention kind of thing. Maybe he is after attention. I don't know. He did get a lot of attention, but I don't think it's going to last. I don't think it's going to last in the way that he thinks it will, because, I don't know many places that would platform Howard again. I don't think modern day debate's going to platform Howard again. I'd be very surprised. you have somebody that nobody will debate. Like nobody wants to.
I wouldn't be that surprised.
Really?
People would watch.
I don't know.
Yeah, people would watch it.
Well, I mean, maybe. I don't want to debate him. He he doesn't debate. He just spouts nonsense. Like he really does. Maybe a troll debate. Maybe we can find someone really good at trolling and just troll him. Maybe that's what the answer is. I don't know.
Call me names and swear at me. That just shows me that they're in denial and they can't handle opening their mind or checking for themselves, which is all we're recommending.
All right. Howard, how do you know their hearts? Well, if you're holding them all upside down and they're all ball sacks. I know mine have chambers and veins. Thanks for that, Gregory.
That's a good one. That's a better argument than I heard all night.
All right, well, let's carry.
Okay, so you don't know if they're hearts or ball sacks. That's basically the conclusion that we've come to after that.
Fair enough.
Great, great, Howard.
Not helpful at all for your case, but at least he's on board with the humor, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess he'd still be satisfied with them being Giants ball sacks because they'd still prove his point. So a win for Howard, I guess. Like seriously, come on, that's like that's like a reductio ad absurdum. It's just reducing it to the absurd.
Carry on. That's funny. I do want to respect our super chatters here and read all your questions out. So let's carry on, everybody. Let's see. Howard, you admitted that you don't know what methodology these people use to confirm their accounts of the devil. So why are you trusting them?
Because I have my own personal experience of the supernatural, which I'm happy to debate someone about in the future. I can show.
Then why not bring that up? Like, if that's what your evidence is, then why not talk about that? Because you're basically saying, hey, you know this to be true because of your experience. That's anecdotal evidence is bad evidence. It's not great. Like, it's just one person's experience. But bring that up because that's at least something to work with rather than a non sequitur like you did. Oh, because Prince Charles said he was a descendant of Vlad the Impaler, then the devil exists. Complete non sequitur.
Evidence for my own personal experience. And I was also in the Freemasons. So I understand that there's sects, there's secret societies like witches, like Satanists, and many side orders that really thrive on disgusting things like blood sacrifice, human sacrifice, pedophilia, adrenochrome. There's loads of horrible things in this world. And we see the celebrities promoting it because the god of this world is on the dollar bill. But hey, it's okay.
Alrighty, so that looks to be the end of our super chats beyond the ones that seem to be quite on the ad hominem side. So yeah, once again, sorry everybody that this didn't go the way that we planned, but we're gonna wrap it up here, and I'm gonna remind everybody that our tickets are linked in the description for our modern day debate, a live debate con. So check out those tickets in the link in the.
Okay, well that's it. I'm sorry to drag you through that. Look, you knew what you were signing up for, and I take no blame for this absolute. Okay, it's a shit show. Let's call it what it is. It's a shit show.
I mean, everything about it. It was phenomenal. I pressured you into this. I completely accept all responsibility.
No, you didn't pressure me into it. You just asked if you could be on the panel. I thought that was great. Don't think that way.
I appreciate that. I was like, this was crazy.
Oh yeah, it was off the wall crazy.
Nuts. It was just like, what is happening?
I didn't think it could get more nuts, but apparently tonight in DebateCon it got more nuts. So I might have to do that next week.
Yeah, so, I haven't
holy crap.
I watched a little bit of Witch and Leo,
not the
but I haven't seen other DebateCon today. Yeah. So, but it's on tomorrow as well, right?
Yeah, should be. And I've got a lot to catch up on. I've got to catch up on a whole bunch of stuff. So I've got that to do. I've got a room rumble to post, as I was telling P-Town earlier. I still got to do the intro for that. So I will work on that, and that's going to be really good. I've still got to post the debate I did against Hake, the old Hake bait. I'm not calling it that. It was a good debate. I enjoyed it.
That's good because I know hate can be.
It's a lot. Hey,
yeah.
a lot of the stuff really, I guess, horrified me or just made me kind of just sad for his perspective, like the things that he thinks, that other people like and dislike, and
It's a scary world that they live in.
Yeah, absolutely. I and I wished I'd been a bit more empathetic and sort of said, hey, imagine if we did this to gingers, to redheaded people, and see if I could use some empathy to get him to think about what he's saying. But he's got sort of this paradigm where he expects the world to be a certain way, and I just see no reason why we have to have the world that way. It seems like just certain people want special benefits out of society that nobody else has, and I don't see why we can't. We need that.
Fair.
Because they're only fine with that as long as they're the ones getting the benefit.
Yep.
Yeah. Once it's them on the bottom of the heap, not so fun anymore. But thank you so much, everybody. I want to give a massive thank you to Dr. Tapioca Weasel, filling in for the amazing Ember. And, thank you. You've done an amazing job to survive.
We all miss you so much, Ember.
Absolutely. The world is a little darker without that small flame in it. Just saying.
Yeah. No, Ember,
they are fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. But I do want to thank you, and thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure. I want to give a big thanks to everybody that sent in super chats and things like that. Doc Dino, Robin, always a pleasure. Yeah, Hooligan, Connor, that Weasel, the beheaded kamikaze, doorknob head, Al Trucker, Cool Biko, and Regios multiple times, because apparently
Regios,
guns,
a champion.
Yeah,
absolute champion.
Yeah, Reed, get those brain cells charged back up. That was something. I don't know what to call it. It was something else. But
Bree, so Bree has recently also switched to having Creation Watch be a Sunday show with a guest.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I don't.
Yeah, last week was the first week that it was a thing. And I can't remember who is tomorrow's guest, but do you want me to? I can't remember. I also can't remember. I don't have a link right now, but if somebody gives it to me, I will be able to post it, because I can't remember. But it's a very new thing. Last week was the first time that she had it on Sunday. Maya was one of the guests. So yeah.
Well, I see one on. That's my. Yeah, no, I'm seeing it as like 4th of November, and that's my 4th of November, which would be. Wait, hang on.
That's yesterday for you, right? Like,
correct. Yes.
It's only the 4th of November for me. Like, for less than 2 more hours. So.
Right. So it's Saturday night for you. What? I'm confused. I'm confused. Well, anyway, I'll give you Bree's. I'll drop a link for Bree. I didn't know.
Do it for great justice.
For great justice.
Well, I know, like, for example, Maya and I do not have a link ready for our show tomorrow night.
Well, that doesn't matter. I had that ready. Just one sec. And I'll drop a link for Maya's. They do.
There we go.
Add Science Sunday. Which
should
be
Sunday. We got Oz
it should be in like
great.
Just tomorrow night, shouldn't it, for you guys?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night. Yeah, it's tomorrow night.
Yeah,
we got Oz and Jenna. It's gonna be a crazy
Oz
time.
And Jenna.
We're responding to Ray Comfort. It's a hot mess.
It's Banana Man. You guys, you gotta be there for Banana Man. He's still doing the same stick he always did. Like, seriously, he hasn't changed at all.
Man on the street interviews, which he's just bad at. He's just bad at them.
Okay, so Regios with a bit of a peace offering, and that's $10 from Regios. Thank you so much, Regios. Might give Dr. T some grief, but also do enjoy the contribution on other channels like Mayers and Mark's. So a bit of a olive branch there. Thank you so much, Regios, and thanks, Dr. Tat. And thank you everyone for joining me. This was really good. Keep open. I'll probably have some more debates coming up, hopefully, and the room rumbles coming up. Should be fantastic. So take care. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. Do take care. Much love, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and my banner. Hold it. We got to talk a bit more while I thank all the people that contribute to the channel. They've been channel. Stop with the weasel words. that contribute to all the channel members. Thank you so much. Love you all, and take care. What? Where's my thing? There it is.